you love it? They're just putting everything out there that they possibly can. But we should also acknowledge the fact that when Sumail has moved to carry, it leaves a void in the lineup of Nigma Galaxy. I know you had departed the team prior to that, but to welcome him back in a new role, you have to have the question of, is the person who's replacing him in mid living up to those standards? Lorinov takes that role, and I can very happily say that is someone who lives up to expectations, who will follow very easily and fill those shoes of Sumail in mid.
Yeah, Lorinov is one of those star players that never really got on a star-studded team, and it felt like that's been his position for a while now. We've called him a mercenary. We've talked about his mercenary buffs because every time he joins a team, whether it's as a stand-in or for the first few months, you can really feel his impact on his teammates because they're overachieving, he's playing incredibly, and their ideas shift for that time. And then after a while, it kind of just stagnates a little, and then we don't hear from Lorinov for a while. I wonder if this will be the case here, but as we can see, his results as a stand-in are pretty ridiculous. Yeah, there's a little bit of Falcons sabotage there. Maybe they saw the future.
He knew it was coming.
He's like, I gotta keep him low because I'm gonna beat them at TI. But with Aurora, his history as a stand-in, getting a first and a second is pretty absurd.
And yourself, Quinn, very quickly, you've also stood in for Falcons. Do you feel like Lorinov's walked away with much info on them for today's matchup?
Possibly so. They're not a team that keeps close to the chest. They're honest, they're open, and I mean, I think they're ready. They're both ready to play here.
It feels like a familiar matchup, despite the fact we haven't actually seen these two teams come up against each other very often. Whether you want to coin it as an ego battle, whether it's a draft battle, all I know is we're in store for one of the best of threes here for our first day of TI 15.
Nigma Galaxy versus Team Falcons. Game 1.
We've already had two of our lower seeded teams come into today and create those upsets. If you're looking at this matchup, maybe you're wondering which team I'm referring to here. Falcons come in as the lowest seed up against a dominant group stage Nigma Galaxy who went 4-1. And so I wonder, is that group stage performance going to be another one that Nigma fans are unfortunate to put their copium into, or is it going to be this display of consistency?
I feel like Lorinov has genuinely revolutionized this team. I think this team has been stuck in the same sort of patterns that won TI7. It's crazy to think that, but they've kind of like followed that kind of play style of like high tempo, we're going to try to pressure the map, we're going to overwhelm our opponents with moves, which just hasn't really worked. And I feel like ever since Lorinov has stepped into this team, they've become a lot more of a macro team. They're playing a lot more for their farm, they're playing more for scaling, they're kind of stabilizing their game a lot more. And I think this idea of Nigma as like a chaotic team that tries to run around as 5 and create all these moves, it's gone. They're not that team anymore.
Yeah, and that's further amplified by a lot of the really close games they had during group stage. They played for very long. A lot of their battles were gruesome, and they made some really big comebacks too against Team Spirit in particular. Both of those games were hard fought and not easy, and that's not the Nigma of old. The Nigma of old was the one with the lead throwing it away.
Yeah, I think this team needed someone with strong resolve, because I think Nigma's a team that's very easy to get roped into what everyone else is saying. People are saying, go, 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 and you go too, and you get roped into that. And Lorinov says, no, I'm farming my camps, I'm getting my gold, and I think in a lot of ways, he's the true carry of this team. Sumail is playing mid from the side lane, and Lorinov is playing carry. He's getting the gold. He's being the rock that they need, because they go crazy a little bit, and they've got someone to come back to who's still got high net worth. The game is still okay. We're still solid.
That's absolutely been the case, because if you look at Sumail's hero pool, he's been thriving on stun heroes and setup heroes, and it works because Lorinov is so greedy, and Devi as well. From the offlane, you can just put him on a last pick Timbersaw or something like that, and he can put the game on his back.
We're not looking at last picks just yet. We're looking towards what has been the opening phase for both Falcons and Nigma Galaxy. Falcons with the first pick go for the center there. It was completely ignored in our previous series, despite being a hot commodity in the group stages. And Nigma Galaxy go for the newer trend, a Nature's Prophet that has definitely shown what it's capable of as a hero today.
I think Falcons have this idea that they don't need to ban Lina if they first pick Centaur, because they're just going to play it on mid if Lina gets thrown mid, and he's just going to skill retaliate and farm, and it's not going to matter. And I've seen mid Centaur look kind of boring and underwhelming, but for Falcons, it makes sense conceptually. They want the offlane to mid flexes. That's always been their style.
I also feel like we talk about like collapse for Team Spirit being the best guy to buy a blink and stunning people. I feel like Malrine is that guy from mid.
Yeah.
Like, give him a strength hero that's tanky and you can just blink and stun someone and be able to like create these moves. He will do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's an incredibly hard balance to strike, and I think he hits it. He's somehow farm, but also is everywhere stunning you. I don't think anyone has ever done it like him from mid, actually. Maybe I think back to S4 or something, but not since S4 can I think of another mid that has played tempo in the pure essence of the way Malrine does it. The Nature's Prophet, I think, is interesting response to Centaur in that In a lot of ways, Stampede is very good against Nature's Prophet because you just run at this guy. He doesn't like people getting on him. He has no escape mechanisms. But at the same time, these trees are very strong right now. They do a ton of damage to heroes. So there's a world where you can beat this guy up in lane, and sure, he Stampedes every once in a while, but you can play so fast, open up the towers, while Centaur is playing this new, slower farming build with Helmet Dominator into Heart. You're kind of AFK for 20 minutes.
I think it's also a hero that Sumail kind of likes. It's an active carry. It's a hero that he can get involved with. So if he wants to play it on the safe lane, it allows him to like have that pacing and that tempo that he wants to be able to set. So Lorinov can take a little bit more of that passive macro role on their team.
Yeah, and the flex is open for them too, because they have run it mid before and won with it.
Yeah, it's definitely an option for them. And I also like when you see the Centaur, you pick these two fighters. Like the fact that this hero is slow, I think is one of the biggest things about this hero. The build has drastically changed. This hero scales insanely well. He's not some blink bot that he used to be. He's kind of a carrier from the offlane, and so picking two really fast heroes in response, heroes that are low cooldown, high tempo, I think that is conceptually what you want against this guy, because you want to speed the game up and abuse the fact that they got two carries.
Also, speaking of concepts, I feel like it's important to touch on Falcons. They follow this idea of like, we want to create a draft where none of our heroes die. They always look for these very tanky heroes. They try to find ways to play the game without dying, I think. Like they want to have heroes that are hard to kill. And you see here, they're further trying to do that. You have the Shadow Demon that has Disruption for a save. You have Mirana, which is a very tricky support to kill. Snaking likes to push out a lot of creep waves, and he likes to be very aggressive on the waves. So Mirana's a great hero for that. You can get away pretty easily. And I feel like for Nigma, they're going to have to try to break that. It's kind of a similar thing we saw in the last game with like the damage issues that Liquid had. I think Falcons are going to try to create the same thing.
While we are waiting for Nigma Galaxy's pick, by the way, I think a worthy mention is the Dazzle ban. More often than not, bans just fall to the wayside. It isn't so much as an enticing or an exciting ban, but this Dazzle one is, because it is so bread and butter for Nigma Galaxy in their 8-game win streak that they ended up getting in group stage.
It's very much a GH specialty hero, and the thing about GH teams is that he is so respected by his enemies that if you look at Falcon's bans, there are 4 of his heroes that are banned on here. It's his 5 Dazzle, his 5 Vibrant, his IO, and his Coddle. And they're not afraid of the potential IO flex. It is GH usually on this IO. They're terrified of him. Even all of these years later after his TI win, he's still getting target banned. What the heck is that?
He is built different. He's also just always ranked 20 or 30 for like 10 years. I don't even know how it's possible. And that is crazy.
That's an Elder Titan. Okay, so Elder Titan, when I think of this hero, I love playing it. It's amazing, so fun.
Even in this patch?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I actually, when I was reading the patch notes, I was like, this hero kind of has some stuff, but he just doesn't really make sense in any of the games. Because he has this aura that reduces magic damage, like magic armor, and amplifies essentially whatever magic damage you deal, makes it better. So generally you want to run it with some sort of spirits or some sort of heroes where like you can make that guy super strong. And you want to play it against heroes that don't have high mobility. And in this case, I feel like it's very hard to land the stomps, and you don't really have a clear hero to amplify at the moment. So it's a really interesting pick. It's a GH classic though, I will add that.
It is. It's also, like, I think it's taken advantage of by this Huskar in a lot of ways. You've got 2 melee supports, both of which are not very good at coming and killing the mid hero, and that is what's best against Huskar. You want stuff like Hoodwink, or stuff that scales really well, like a Shadow Demon who can get Ags and take off his passive so he doesn't heal. You want to kill this guy and offer threat on him, because your mid lane is going to have a hard time, whatever it is, and you're going to get shut down. And so now they have 2 supports that are sort of stable and don't really do those ganks. Then there's, you know, the Malrine Huskar, and he's the best player at this hero by, it's not even close. It's unbelievable how good he is at this hero compared to everyone else.
Don't let ATF hear you say that though.
It's true. I think Amar would hype his boy up and agree with me too.
You think so?
I think so.
You think you'd give him the crown?
Nah, maybe not. Not with Huskar.
Close, almost though.
I mean, he was beating mid Vipers with Huskar. Like, if you're winning against Vipers as a Huskar player, you're elite. You're the cream of the crop, for sure. And in this game, it feels like he's going to have free reign to just farm. Like, any kind of move that's made on him, as Quinn mentioned, will be hard, but there's also the counterplay from his SD plus Mirana combination.
Don't let the Husker win rate fool you, okay, everyone? This Husker has been first picked, like opening draft pick, many times through group stages. It gives a lot of heroes, a lot of potential for teams through Canada to come up with a recipe for success against it. So the win rate, whilst yes, looking very dire,
I think you can't look at it at all because like
ignore, throw it out the window.
There's Huskar and then there's Malrine Husker.
Yep.
It's in a tier of its own.
Yep.
And I will say he has bled during this tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
He
definitely
has
has.
actually lost. And I feel like I don't know the exact stats for this, but he does not lose on Huskar. Generally speaking, I feel like he just never loses on the hero. So I think this is a different position, right? They get to pick it fourth, they get to see the support matchups, they get to see everything. So it's not like he's playing it into a draft that's fully constructed to beat him.
Yeah, it's a very, very different scenario. And I'm curious to see what they counterpick it with. Huskar's biggest strength, as everybody knows who's ever laned against it, is his laning is disgusting. I think there's borderline no heroes in the entire game that can beat him in lane. And so really your goal is to just survive. What can live through the lane? Nature's Prophet is something that people have tried in the past to lane against Huskar. I don't think it works. He kind of just kills your tree super fast, and then what comes shortly after is he kills you. So you need something else. Lina is banned. It's one of the classic responses. Viper is the best one by far. Both of these are out. And so what does Lornov have in his pocket to actually deal with this? Because it's a lot harder than you'd think, even when you see him.
What about Sniper? Or is it too hard to play as a versus SD Mirana? They're going to move to the mid lane too easily.
Yeah, it's not only that, but it's also the Centaur. You're playing in Stampedes. There's so much like you have to play perfect to be able to play Sniper. And I think Mallory would also maybe even win the lane. But it is like one of the heroes that can lane.
So one of the things that's gotten, like Huskar's gotten weaker over the past year is that he's not as dominant of a scaler as I feel like he was back when Malrine used to just beat everybody with it no matter matchups. The scaling of the hero has gotten worse. So like, I think you have angles now where you can try to play some lanes to draw but have a better scaling situation. But again, for me, it ties back to the supports. You have Elder Titan who kind of wants the spirit. This hero really thrives off of like amplifying a Storm or an Ember or having something like that to play with. And Darkseer kind of falls into the same category. And Huskar is just like, nah, you can't do that. You can't do that against me. So for Nigma, I think this is a really tricky pick. You have to try to find something that makes your draft tie together.
Yeah, the one game that Malrine lost with Huskar this tournament, he lost to Tops and Windranger, so potentially they're looking at that and saying, okay, that could be decent. Now, you will not win the lane, but you have good answers for him in the mid game, right? You press focus fire on the guy and you just shoot him and he can't shoot you back. So there's a lot of, there's good dynamics there apart from the lane. But it's tricky for Nigma because they want a melee hero to enable their Darkseer. They want, like you said, they want that spirit. So they're being forced to grief their own draft so they can lane.
Falcons created a huge draft issue for them too by picking the Sven as well, because there's nothing for the Sven in Nigma's draft. There's no BKB piercing disable. It's a very strong lane against Darkseer because he can just cleave through the waves, and it's going to have an incredible BKB timing where he's not threatened by anything, and they're going to be able to take every objective. So it's, do you answer the Sven or do you answer the Huskar? And Nigma have said, we're just going to pick a hero. We're going to pick a carry to carry matchup that can scale, and Lorinov's just laning against Huskar.
I don't know if Falcons are just baiting me into like thinking it, but they're not picking who's on Centaur or Husker right now, even though they know Simail's playing Lifestealer.
Oh, you're right.
And Lorinov is picking Nature's Prophet. I could be getting baited here.
No, it's very possible. This is not a bait. They're considering it.
Yeah?
The Lifestealer Elder Titan will get obliterated by Huskar in lane.
But what's the Centaur and Nature's Prophet matchup then? Are you willing to sack
They
that
did
one?
it. You're good call.
Wow.
I think
Centaur does well against Prophet, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll draw at a minimum. You have potential to even win the lane because he's hitting you and you just retaliate him back. You're so tanky, so much regen. Mir talked about it earlier in the draft, but Malrine is willing to play this hero. He is sort of the stun goat from mid. This is an interesting twist and one that I think could really heavily punish Nigma early. These lanes, there's a lot of potential to get run over early, and when Falcons runs you over early, they tend to keep their foot on the pedal.
Yeah, even though there's that scaling issue you brought up, Insanio, with Huskar, is it enough that from the off lane, we won't necessarily hit that timing? We could still see so much of what he is good at for a hero shine?
I think we touched on it in the previous series. When you play mid, you have to have some sort of tempo. And now he can just happily click creeps forever, because that's what you do on the off lane. So I think it kind of, he's going to fix the scaling issue by being given more time to just hit creeps, where he doesn't have to tempo, he doesn't have to find these moves. Malrine's going to do it from the Centaur. So I really like what Falcons cooked up.
Yeah, I think while this switch up of having the Nature's Prophet mid is good for Nigma, I think that the scaling is still not good enough. Even though Nature's Prophet is going to be able to farm where he wouldn't have versus Huskar, I still think Sven's going to have free reign in this game, and the Shadow Demon Mirana are going to move very freely as well. They're going to be making a lot of moves, getting a lot of early game kills.
So how do we see an avenue potentially for Nigma Galaxy to have a foot in the door, to be able to take advantage of a potential downfall of Falcons?
I think Lornov needs to overperform in this lane. And we need the stars to align a little bit because I think Falcons have done a really good job here, and we need some magic.
Well, some stars are aligning. It might not be necessarily in the draft, but someone who curated that draft, it's Tsunami and Kuro.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm joined by Kuroki, where Falcons, they're throwing you a lot of curveballs. So first, they pick up a Huskar, and then they say, oh, it's actually an off-lane Huskar, and it's a mid-lane Centaur. How's your team dealing with that?
We're ready for that.
Oh, really? Okay, how about just the Huskar itself? Were you ready for that?
I hope so.
So then was the idea send Lauren off mid-Nature's Prophet, and then either one we'll deal with? Either it's the mid-Huskar or the mid-Centaur?
Yeah, we're ready to match the Huskar, and hopefully it works out.
Okay. I want to ask you about your momentum into this tournament. So group stage, you guys did exceptional. And then I think that 2-0 against Team Spirit really convinced everyone that this Nigma roster knows what it's doing extremely well. We were here last year, though, and the journey ended in top 8. So I'm wondering, how's your confidence levels from last year compared to this year?
I think we got top 6.
Top 6, you're right, my bad.
All right. We're confident, but whatever comes, we're just grateful to be here, very happy. Yeah, it's just enjoying life.
Is there any extra motivation with Sumail's supposed that this might be my final TI?
Well, let's see if it's truly his final TI.
Let's see, and let's also see how this game 1 goes. Good luck, Kuroki.
The reigning champions, Team Falcons, return to another TI. Here they are. They are the longest running roster in Dota history. And here, in what could be their last tournament, they look to make history once again. Only 3 TI champions have returned the next year to be able to claim a podium finish, and none of them are from the modern era. Falcons looks to change that, Avery.
The irony is they're against one of the guys who did it early on in Sumail. TI5, TI6 EG is one of the last remaining players from a double podium finish. He knows what it takes to get there. He also knows how difficult it is. We're looking at 10 years since his first TI win, in perhaps his last run, so he claims, to try and get the second ring that he wants so badly. There is so much history in this match. So many brothers who have played with each other between these squads, right? Sumail's longest running teammate is against him in this match with Crit. ATF, he just said brothers against brothers on the stage. He played with Nigma Galaxy in the season before. These guys know each other so well over so many games, so many years. You better hope that knowledge pays off.
I love the Amar Sumail matchup. You know, like Amar in the game has already said, you know, this is the first time we played on stage together. They didn't get to do it when they were teammates. You know, they never got that opportunity. They didn't have that success. But now, as opponents, they do get that chance. And two members who have also gravitated to the carry role at some point in time in their career. Amar did have that stint where he was playing carry, said it's easy to be carry. Sumail very recently says it really doesn't take much to play carry in modern Dota nowadays. Well, they're going to put that to the test.
Give me the lane.
I will say one of those stints was not like the other. You know, we're not going to name names, but you're hoping you come out on the better side of it, because a lot of players have moved to that carry role and had it be unsuccessful for them, right? It's not as easy as it looks. This role is never as easy as it looks. And Sumail, he's trying to prove himself in a different way here on a squad that he has fought for a long time on. This Nigma squad has just been together for so long. I mean, I think back to how long GH and Kuroki have been together. You know, there was a time where I remember Eternal Envy wanted to pick up this young pub star GH. He was a mid-Magnus, mid-Naga player back in the day. And we said, like, is this guy that good? And guess what? Kuroki picked him up instead, and they won TI that year. So yeah, this guy is that damn good. He's still a menace, still getting so many bans for his hero pool. It's disgusting. You can never count these guys out there. Always poised, always ready to deliver. And this is a new squad with some new faces, ready to prove themselves on the biggest stage in the world. This is going to be a match, especially up against Falcons. You already look at this game 1 draft. There is so much meat to get through in this Falcons lineup. So many tanky heroes, so many 3, 4K HP pools are going to come out in this game with a Moonlight Shadow behind them, with a Disruption behind them. You need to be able to output damage to deal with that. You need to get through the lane stage. We're already seeing double lane swap come out. You put the Centaur mid, trying to get this Huskar Lifestealer matchup. No, Sumail, he's a mid player. You go mid. I'm going to play mid Lifestealer.
That's right.
That's the flexibility you have right here.
All right, so so Nigma Galaxy wants the matchup mid that they got.
Yes.
But our panel already talked about, like, Huskar is not a bad matchup against Furion, right?
I think it's better for him mid, though. I think in the side lane, you're splitting the XP. You don't want to necessarily put the Huskar on the side lane unless you know he's going to dominate that lane really hard. He's not going to dominate the Furion here. Even ET can do some damage against this hero with the level 2 Spirit timing on the level 3. So you do have to be a little more careful up here as Falcons. They did not want this to happen, basically. I guess the one upside is I'd say the Centaur's a better mid than Lifestealer. Lifestealer's not doing anything for you out of the mid lane.
No.
He's just farming. He's going to maybe switch lanes at some point. You could, I guess you get a faster Infest online.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen some of these Lifestealers from the carry role go for that early Infest onto a creep and make a move with it. Maybe there's some play that a Lifestealer can make. Snaking, a little bit of trouble here. Starstorm, but that's going to be a vacuum back into a First Blood as Omar gets the block for Divide to line up the hit.
That's super nice. First Blood on a Darkseer, extra gold, going to push you into that Helm of Dominator. I was just about to say, if you get levels on the Darkseer, maybe this Lifestealer can make some extra moves in this game. Like, there's some really nice early synergy there. Ion Shell plus Surge. Suddenly, Sumail can just run in there, or he runs in with the creep as Best Bomb out. You get shelled, you get surged. There's a lot more to the fight for this Lifestealer than just him on an island. And you always have that Furion to connect on top, which, I mean, we got to mention at the start of the series. Has Lornoff had the highest potential of any mid player at this event?
Yeah,
some of the games this guy has carried as the greatest stand-in of all time, and now a permanent member of the squad, is just ridiculous. So if he gets a 4-0, 5-0 start on this Furion and he starts cooking, this game's going to be tough for Falcons.
And it does look like Nigma Galaxy is already getting the better of the lanes. If you like the lane switch up better for Nigma Galaxy, and we already see them getting a First Blood for a Darkseer and getting the extra golden experience, then you gotta favor them for this early game, right?
I like the switch up. I think they got the better of it. Kuroki was very confident in that interview. I don't think they were caught off guard. I think they were well aware of this potential swap. You always need to think about the Maureen ATF Flex heroes, which is basically their entire pool, right? These guys hold 9 records for like the most played heroes in professional Dota across their hero pool. They have the record for the most level 30 heroes. If you're not aware of it by now, you should have been.
Yeah.
And this is that flex potential they always have. So I think Nigma were ready for it. I like the lane swap. The only downside for them is they don't get that super fast solo level Furion out of mid, which I think is a little scarier for how they like to play. But it's perfectly fine here to play this hero in the safe.
Yeah, I was about to say, a mid Lifestealer, like surely Falcons are happy with a slow mid hero that's not going to be running over their side lanes. If the game goes slow, it's usually Falcons' favor.
I would agree. They just want to farm up. They want to get fat on all their heroes. They have a lot of core potential. 5 or 6 slots across all 3 of these 3 meaty boys is going to go a long way.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid of playing a slow game. It's just a question of how much Nigma Galaxy can speed it up. And I think that'll be the MO of this series. I think Nigma are going to want to play a little faster, get a little more done in the early game, synergize their heroes, connect, make some moves.
Maureen, I was just about to praise him for getting such great CS. 1911, Centaur's very good at doing that. Mid lane Centaur, I felt like, is near impossible to stop getting great CS. Omar is going to go for a bit of a dive here. Divide also pressures Snaking, but it's just a poke. They're not really going in for anything.
Always have to think about these Furion rotations a little later on. Doesn't have the teleport yet, but between that level 4 to 6 is where this lineup can really pick up. Mid's your dead lane this time around. If you're Nigma Galaxy, it's going to change how the rotations happen, how you use the powers, but that's kind of the same for both teams. The Centaur's not going to offer much more here other than early Stampede.
Ornoff getting low. Amar trying to gun for the kill. The Shadow Poison popped. The Burning Spears, but they feed him the Lotus. GH comes out of the disruption. Just in time, but the Poison still takes him out alongside the Burning Spears. That's just too much damage over time.
Very close trade. You got an early Ash Legion shield on GH as well. Picking up some early neutral item. Should have won you this trade, but the boots plus quelling on Amar, he's just able to get the chase down, and he calls him old.
Oh, Maureen has already taken to his teammates Amar's ult chat. Falcons, well known for a bit of BM, young and playing Cent mid. Yeah, that's actually an appropriate response. Like, what are you doing playing Centaur mid? Back in Sumail's day, he was playing 16 years old playing Invoker mid, Storm Spirit.
Not the flashiest hero.
Nope.
You know, I don't know if I would ever imagine Sumail being the player to be called old on the TI team.
Yep.
That makes me feel really old.
Yep.
Sitting here watching that. But he does have a point. He's one of the older players now.
Yep. Not just when it comes to his career and how long he's been playing Dota and attending TIs, but he's actually feeling the age. That's why he's, thought about retirement for this TI.
No.
Though he has said very clearly, if he wins it, you gotta go for the third.
I can't imagine Dota without Sumail, so we'll keep seeing him around. Device, CS leader, trying to do a little back laning.
It will be chased away.
Yeah, they do not want this to happen. You do not want an ultra farm Darkseer in this game who can provide some utility and boost up these other two cores.
Gotta be careful to support duo. Got him on the disruption after the surge. That leaves Divine nowhere to run. He's just gonna try and get the neutral deny. Vacuums the neutrals to him. Try and get the tentacles. It would have been a really sick play, but Crit still gets the last hit.
Got to take advantage of the space elsewhere if you're Nigma Galaxy. They're going to try and punish Amar a little bit top, but the TP comes through from the Centaur.
Yeah, Centaur's actually going to go for it. Stampede running down Lorinov. This is not what they expected whatsoever. A two-man stop from Maureen to set up the kill. They kill Lorinov together.
That was a sick read from Maureen. And this is what the panel talked about. He's arguably, the best stunner tempo creator from mid we've seen in a long, long time. The stats back it up. This guy makes the most out of weird situations you just don't expect. That is not a TP kill Nigma Galaxy are even thinking of. You see the supports go bottom. You're thinking you have free reign on this top lane, and all of a sudden it's a Centaur counter ganking you out of mid. Yep. Okay, you got to write that one off and just move on.
And what's Sumail's response? He's a mid-life stealer. Like, what are you expecting him to do? Counter TP?
Call him old in the chat. That's about all you got.
Yep, that's all you got.
Definitely set this Furion back. Lorinov is not having a fun time in this laning stage. Core is core by far. He's had some pressure put on him. He's had to lane against the Huskar. He's going to have to find a way to recover off of the team fights. Try and get this Nature's Wrath up as soon as possible. This is the biggest thing. You debilitate the Furion levels. Wrath comes online later. He farms his way back a little later. He can't boost up the other lanes as quickly. You buy yourself so much extra time in this game.
Yeah, Crit is being an absolute nuisance. He's not even letting Lorinov hit some of those neutrals behind the tower.
So annoying. Disruption into harass. Now you have to waste.
He's even threatening to kill him with the Shadow Poisons. Now, it's probably not going to be enough here. Crit, ooh, it was actually pretty damn close, but unable to finish the job, and Lorinov gets some much-needed experience even as his jungling is slowed down. He is a level and a half behind Amar.
A little bit of a gap has opened up. He's also just buying a lot of space for, again, 3 cores on the side of Falcons that are all farming. Helmet Dominator's going to be done here for the Centaur. The Sven's free farming bottom, and that Huskar has an empty lane top. So you're giving a lot of lane freedom here, the Falcons. Conceding a lot of this laning phase, and you're going to have to make it up elsewhere. Well, he's taking mid tower with an amp damage.
Yeah, he's no Dragon Knight, but because of the amp damage rune, he is chipping away at that mid tower, so...
I'll be really curious to see if he tries to make moves or join anything early with this mid lifestealer. It seems super awkward to do. You can maybe make that creep infest play.
And imagine it goes wrong, right? You slow down your Radiance, you're going to be like, oh man, I've just compounded the issue here.
I think you might just want to treat it as if you're a Necrophos or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to play my game, get a Radiance, and then we can maybe start doing lane and I can bring people back in this game. Yeah, especially if he's given an empty lane bit. It's pretty hard to turn down empty solo XP plus runes.
Yeah, he's like, where are you at, Maureen?
He's creeps mid. That's where he's at.
Yep.
Dragging waves.
Trying to stop these Helmet Dom creep shenanigans.
It's so slippery, so annoying, man.
Omar with the Surge, Ion Shell, going after Amar.
That's close.
Trying to close that gap, unfortunately doesn't quite connect.
Trying to get this Huskar before the arm link comes out. Nice idea. It'll at least buy some space for Lorinov in the jungle. And Wrath of Nature online here in 1 creep. So you have that spell to play with now if you're Nigma.
He denies the regen rune. Finally gets hunted down by Battery Assault from Omar. They kill the Helmet Dom creep. But Maureen, I mean, he farmed so many neutral camps during that, and the creep wave will now push into him, or into Crit rather, who's collecting the experience, trying to get level 6, would be much needed against a Darkseer lifetime. I mean, this is a very valued Demonic Purge game, that's for sure.
It is tremendous.
Actually managed to get the stomp here on Samael, though nothing's going to come of this. Still no level 6.
They're not going to put any attention into this life stealer. They don't threaten him. He's not their biggest priority. You want to shut down the Furion early, and then if anything, I think shutting down the Darkseer a little bit in the team fights would be nice. Start to pressure this tower, though, with the boys. Darkseer Summoner doing a lot of work in these games.
That's right. Rally it up.
Nice little rage bait.
Samael might be able to threaten Maureen a little bit, but he can't really stop this push that's coming in. They have no AoE clear whatsoever. Best they get is a deny. Let's see if they're able to snag that one as the glyph is going to go away. Maureen, Helmadom Creep is going to die. They go for the deny. Oh, they didn't get it. What?
They missed the creep lasted and the tower lasted.
Oh,
I mean, that's where you drop another ult, right? You gotta go back to the all chat here. I was about to say, how is GH level 7? What on earth?
Well, Lorinov doesn't want to lane anymore.
I know, but this is a ridiculously high level ET. He already had level 3 in the Echo Stomp plus the Earth Splitter. Not a bad spell in this game. This is kind of a nice ET game against effectively triple melee core with all these heroes going in.
Yeah.
The SD is a little annoying, but there's no real hard save for your setup. If you can stomp 2 or 3 heroes and throw an Earth Splitter in there, it's going to do some work. It's also not a bad matchup against Huskar. You can kind of sleep him, set up the damage. Earth Splitter does a huge amount of physical and just chunk him down. I always felt this matchup was kind of nice. Huskar always goes deep to you two. If he leaps on somebody and you stomp him on the leap in, it resets the fight. You have a lot of counterplay after that. So GH can do a lot of work in this game, and honestly, I think he is historically the best the best ET player in the world.
That's quite praise coming from you. Ooh, sneaky move. Divine managed to get the vacuum back mid-leap. However, his lane partner, Omar, whiffs the hook shot, and they missed the kill.
I'd like to see Nigma kind of group up for some sneaky play here and get the ball rolling, especially just to bring the Furion in the game with Wrath and Nature off cooldown. You have a lot of these little combinations with the nerfs here. There
yeah, HTP away with Demonic Purge plus Fire Spirits. That's too much damage, even if he could get back to Fountain.
That's a lot of experience. High level EP going down.
Arrow could trying to sneak in a stomp on Samael and then combo it with the arrow. Doesn't work.
I think the one play you can make now, you have hook shot. You can shell this Clockwork. You can even infest him and just hook shot this Centaur around mid, bring the Furion in and collapse, kill this mid tower. I don't think the other 2 cores from Falcons would want to respond to a move like that. But I think you want to start to disrupt this farming a little bit, because this Sven and Huskar, they are just soaking up the sides of the map right now.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's way too much freedom. You have some BKB control. It's not an ultimately free Sven game. I'm just worried about the overall accumulation here. This is how Falcons like to play. They want to hit their mid-game timing where they're too tanky for you to deal with. They start forcing objectives. You have to take some fight. Maybe you don't have the same timing to match them. The game gets really weird really quickly. And we're seeing this ramp up considerably. It's going to be an early Hurricane fight for ATF. The more kiting, more ability to lock onto the damage while maybe maintaining a gap around the other 2 melee cores.
Right, he's got to try and challenge the Furion, but keep away from the Lifestealer in fights.
I think this is what this is designed to do.
Britt trying to sneak something here, but will be caught by Omar. Nice hook shot into Cogs. And thought it was going to guarantee the kill here. Earth Splitter goes out. Crit managed to dodge that one as well. Demonic Purge, they saw him down with a blood grenade. They will finally collect the kill. Goodness, I mean, Cogs into Stomp felt free, but it actually forced them to chase so far. They're going to get a trade-off, maybe even 2. As Omar comes in, he'll go after Omar, who gets up to the high ground. Cogs pushing him back.
A lot of burn.
Ticking low, ticking down, and he dies.
It's not worth it on that move, and instant TP top with the newly minted Blink from Maureen. He instantly puts it to use. These little plays the Centaur can make really make a big difference in this game. Starting to look a little concerning for Nigma Galaxy. The game's not in a terrible state yet, but you can definitely feel the net worth starting to ramp up here.
Yeah.
And it's these tier 1 standing up. This is another issue with the Furion going safely and getting punished in that Huskar matchup. Your tempo around these tier 1s is a lot slower than if you had that 1v1 mid. where he can rotate around and the moves become a lot more natural.
Yeah, mid Furion gets level 6, level 7. He teleports to a side lane. He's the baddest guy in the game, right? And like nobody wants to challenge him. A side lane Furion's like, whatever, man. Like we're the same level. Who cares?
He just lost too much XP in that lane. Another TP out from PH. He'll survive that one. Giving a little information space. We are closing in on that Sumail raid, so it's going to be a solid timing here.
And that presumably Nigma Galaxy are going to make big moves.
You got to do
right?
something.
Like there's no way they're just going to camp out and farm more, right?
No, it has to be an infest play, either Clockwork, some surge target. And again, look for some fight around one of these tier 1s where the Fury collapse in. You get a team fight into that objective and start to snowball the map a little bit. Definitely working on these Dom creeps, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes if these Clockworks are like, man, maybe I should put more levels in Battery Assault just to try and kill these Helmet Dom creeps better. Oh! Crit! Trying to get in front of him, lands a hook shot. Beautifully done by Lornoff. Whoopsies! Pushing him away with the cogs, allows the Stampede. Okay, never mind. Struck down by Lornoff with the global presence.
Efficient kill. Furion's recovering. His hero will always recover as long as he's not getting gone on. So some early deaths set you back. Now you get some revenge. And the Radiance for the Lifestealer is done. So Nigma Galaxy can start to look for some more aggressive moves of their own. Assuming you're not getting jumped on.
Has to instantly teleport away, and it's
might be
still
dead.
going to be a close call. 21 charges will keep him away from death.
Might be able to make a move off that. Because again, you know these Falcons heroes are pretty static right now.
Can't afford for them to just keep soaking up all this map between the neutrals that they're farming, the tier 1 towers that they're taking.
This Centaur Dom has done work in this game.
Oh, stomps right as the Sven jumps in. Happy coincidence there for Divide, but
Might just
still
be
results.
that tier 1 now.
Lamar, best pop out, trying to go for the fast kill here. It's not super fast. In fact, Omar's going to die for it.
Well worth it.
Dominating kill streak, though, for Sumail, so he gets his Radiance, immediately finds a big kill, 500 gold to him.
That's exactly what you wanted. Kill one of these static farmers on the side lane. No one's going to respond to this play. You just got to bring the numbers to do it. You even got the tower denied bottom with the Darkseer. So nice little gold swing going your way there.
The panel talked about Falcons' style, how they want to be able to limit their deaths as much as possible, make it as hard as possible for you to be able to kill them. And it's not that they're trying to go completely deathless, right? In situations like that, it just means you have to throw so many resources to kill one of us, and then guess what? Everybody else is farming.
They will never respond to a move like that. They understand when they're in farm mode. They understand when they're in fight mode. They're always going to play the map as efficiently as possible. You also have to be worried about these supports mopping up some of the extra waves. They sneakily get very farmed in these games where nothing's happening. Yeah, they're not going to waste their time. They're hitting creeps. This is a team coached by AU at 2000. Like, they're not messing around when it comes to the farming efficiency.
We can probably see that from the gold gain in these last few minutes is no matter how much the Furion might be getting out of the map, Sven probably outpacing him. Mirana going to be outpacing the other two supports on the enemy side for sure. And even Crit is staying ahead in net worth by a solid amount.
Another reason to go and look for plays. Instant smoke up. They're going to infest the Clockwork. I think this is the easiest connection to try and make here and try and open up the map. You'd really like the Sven off this play if he's still lingering in this bottom lane.
Yeah, they do not want to be killing Snaking here, but it might be
really
the only hero they have a chance to do so. They're just going to take the fast kill and try and go for the tower.
It's fine. You have to kill whoever's down here. You want it to be Sven, you'll take the Miranda. This will open up a tier 1. Lornoff needs some of these lanes to go in a little deeper. It's part of the advantage of having Furion is you can create some lane pressure innately. If all the tier 1s are standing, it really limits your efficacy. So a nice little connection. Gets glyphed on the bottom tower, but I think it's still dead here. Falcons, no interest in defending this. They're closing in on Skeeter's BKB, which is ridiculously fast here.
It's a 19-minute-and-a-half tier 1 safe lane tower, and they still have 2 more tier 1s. Like, Falcons got to be living kind of the dream right now. They're not that far ahead in net worth, but this kind of implies the game is it's going to guarantee that they have more and more time to farm.
Look at Skeeter's CS. I mean, what is this? Almost 320 minutes? That is just an absolute free lane. So it's going to be a really fast BKB. They're going hard on the other 2 cores, by the way. Of course, they talked about how they like their tanky boys.
Yeah.
Why not tank it up even more? I guess it's good you have Lifestealer in this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you tank up so much that it's too much for even Lifestealer to handle?
Well, you're just adding extra feast damage. Good for Sumail. He sees these hearts. He's just licking his lips. He's like, oh, yeah. My passive's getting better by the minute.
Yeah, same goes with Earth Splitter. But that is kind of where the buck stops, right? You've got 2 percentage-based damage dealers. So, see if it takes them far enough. 5,000 net worth lead for Falcons, and trying to sneak a Roshan here, but it's going to be read by Nigma Galaxy. So, the fight is definitely coming. And Falcons, are you actually going to try and stick it? Are they going to dare Nigma Galaxy to stop them from doing this Roshan? They're going to try and intercept them as they smoke into play here. Smoke's going to break on the Helmet Dom creep. Amar is outside of the pit.
They want the fight more than the Roche. They know how strong they are right now.
Really trying to bait him in. They spot GH. Amar doesn't get the opportunity.
Oh, he got silent.
With the Hurricane Pipe. They push him away for the Centaur. Still trying to go for that kill. Samael's looking for the Infest. Doesn't have to pop it right away. They killed the Huskar with a jump in from Omar. And then Murnoff with a big Wrath of Nature. They actually managed to get the kill. They got baited into thinking they could actually burst down the Lifestealer.
That's a really funny cosmetic.
It is.
Just to point that out. That's the ET Huskar matchup. Before you have BKB, he just annihilates you. And after that fight, ATF instantly switch from the heart to the BKB.
Yeah.
He knows. Like, you cannot play this matchup without it. You just get slept into chunk down. There has to be a disruption there, and if there's not, you're just going to get obliterated. So, nice little defensive fight from Nigma. You don't get Roche off that. I wonder if they even knew how low the Roche was. It's healing up right now.
If they knew, do you think they actually tried to get it?
The Roche,
at like a 3rd HP.
The Roche is just so bad at this point in the game. You need a little more physical DPS between the 2 cores.
Right.
I think they're fine with that, though. You've really stabilized this game. You've mitigated the potential damage that Falcons were building towards and bought yourself a lot of time here. And you also don't need as much farm on your support duo to function well. Block ET, you don't need much, right? You just need boots, tank up a little bit, and you're going to be able to have a lot of impact in the fights.
Okay, you got to explain that further, because they got 1 kill. He lowered the net worth by like 2,000, but Falcons is still up 3K. Why was that such a big move to you?
If Falcons get a kill there, win that fight, they finish Roshan. This lead's going to be 7 to 9K. And you're going to have a tough time pushing lanes out or finding another pickoff, because the hearts are going to come out. Some hero's going to have Aegis. This Sven is going to start running into you because the momentum feels a little bit better for them. That just felt like
Falcons was so, in your mind, so favored for that fight. There was a potential of growth that would have been explosive, but instead, Nigma managed to parry that, stop it in its tracks, and have a chance to be able to.
It was a really big kill momentum-wise in terms of Falcons progressing this game. Now they're going to have to look for that same fight again off the back of Skeeter's farm.
Mars Smoke's going to break, trying to go for the hook shot, ends up going to the neutrals. Run, little clockwork, run!
Is he alive?
He's actually maybe going to. Oh, the arrow stops him. What could have been.
That was almost the greatest escape of all time.
It really was. The pickoff does lead to Falcons going back to that Roshan pit.
Oh, nice.
Nigma Galaxy, yeah, nice stomp. That'll slow him down just a little bit further.
God Strength running out.
With only 4 heroes.
Falcons can't do this, not with God Strength running out. Very hard to force the Roche against the Elder Titan.
Okay.
This pick is proving its worth in this game for sure. And GH, he has been on point too.
So because they stopped the first time, now they've kind of stopped them a second time. And now, like, you can't do it as Falcons. You're gunning into the time where Roshan's going to swap to the other side.
Yep. And this is all time for the Furion.
Yeah.
The Furion
5,000 gold in the last 5 minutes.
He is soaking up the lanes.
1,000 GPM for Lornoff in this window of time.
Nigma are really happy with the last 5 minutes or so here. Again, this lead could have built. This Roshan could have done a lot more for Falcons. Instead, they got stymied on 2 moves. Not happy about that. Got to get the next round of items up and then try and either just force the objective straight up or play the map a little bit more, which their lineup is... It's not the greatest at doing. I think it'll get better over time, the more the Centaur becomes a threat. They're just going to start progressing objectives. A little bit easier over 1 here. And no snipe. Shard to crit. That's super nice here. You get a little cleanse action. Yeah. Not the greatest cleanse game, but hey, it's free.
Is anything on their side cleansable? Is stop not cleansable, dispellable? No, it's strong dispel only.
I don't think it's really doing anything here.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh?
Oh, maybe that was one of the worst cleanses we've seen. It's still it's still a heal.
Yeah,
it's still such a good demonic purge game. I don't think you mind too much.
Sure.
Especially if you
Well,
ever land
there's
on
open
the life
room.
stealer.
Forgot about it.
Oh, that's true, man. Smoke from Nigma.
Breaks on Maureen. They spot him. Hook shot.
Thank you,
And
boy.
they take down this big old centaur. They're trying to slow him down, but the Stampede has gotten far enough away, and the jump in from Skeeter quickly kills Divide. Now he's got a kite back against Mail. Wants to go for the squishier heroes. Now Amar's next up. Disruptions. Mail's getting kited, but he doesn't have the intent to get out of here. He's just going to be chained, done, and out. Falcons couldn't find their win on the Radiant side. Roshan will find it on the other side. It's quad kill for Falcons. Skeeter picks up 3 of them.
That's the dream for Falcons. You want to jump our tankiest hero who does the least damage and set the entire fight up on great jumps for our other 2 damage-dealing cores? By all means, we will happily oblige. Nigma Galaxy, they bit the bait too much there. Just not the target you want to run into. I'm not even sure how he dies there, to be honest, unless you just full commit, vacuum wall Fury on TP aggressively, and they were tentative to do all that.
And there's no way that's a winning team fight.
No.
For Nigma, right? Because I mean, you'll have nothing left to deal with the Huskar, nothing left to deal with the Sven. Who
So
almost has a dataless, by the way.
He's so farmed.
He's
Putting in work. And ATF, he'll switch back to the heart now that he got an Aegis.
Now that we're winning the game.
Yeah, now that I got my Roshan, okay, I'll go for the bigger payoff item over the long run. Just gonna tank up. This build is always a little weird on Huskar because it does regen you, which can be a little awkward.
Yeah, it slows down your DPS.
Yes, but on the low HP, it can be absolutely insane, especially if the enemy has no healing, anti-healing, which we should mention. This lineup has no anti-healing in it. I'm not even really sure how you build it. There's no Croze, there's no Scotty builder. I guess Darkseer can get one eventually. Probably your best option here.
Yeah.
That's a while.
I know people really like Essence Distiller, but I do, like, there are moments like this where I'm like, oh,
The vessel's just so much.
It was a vessel.
It's so much more expensive for support. I think that's the biggest prohibiting factor. So now you just have to survive this period. If you're Nigma Galaxy, you continue to try and scale up the Furion and the Lifestealer's physical damage as much as possible. Which is going to be rough for these 2 supports because they're not the best at just casually farming the map in these downtimes. You can break some smokes. You can try and shut down Falcon's aggressive play. The last thing you want happening here is getting picked off on your side of the map. If Falcons get a pick off on Nigma's side of the map, it's going to be tower into potential high ground. You're going to lose some buildings pretty quickly at this point.
All the meanwhile, Falcons have no problem extending the game if it means that they can just increase their chance, their win percent, bit by bit.
Get a Centaur card up, get Huskar Ags. You can keep scaling all 3 of these cores for a long time here.
Give the
No rush.
Satanic on Sven.
Your support net worth lead's also just going to grow because you have 2 farming supports versus 2 melee subs who don't clear waves. That's always going to be in your favor too. A lot of little things working for you here in this time period. And there's the Ags for the Centaur. Decided to rush it here. Try and bail the Huskar out in any situation where ATF's getting all in.
So, with so much against Nigma Galaxy here, what's gotta happen? Is it possible for them to win a fight? Let's start with that. Oh, Lord off. Well, not like this, that's for sure, with your carry getting picked off just outside your base.
In a straight 5-on-5 right now, no. I don't think it is. I think they have to
with like a fantastic vacuum wall into Stomper.
I guess they do have a combo. If you can back 3 or 4 heroes into Stomper Splitter, then yes, it's doable. I think you would prefer to be able to play the map a little bit more here. But again, that was the death on your side of the map.
Yep.
This is what you could not afford in this time. This is going to force the high ground very quickly. You're not going to be able to reset the map fast enough. You might have to take this fight. Look for that big back combo.
Look at Amar, just straight to it. GH with the instant TP back.
Very smart TP.
He saw what was coming. And does manage to get away before Snaking or Crit can stop him with the disable. That's still going to be a lane of barracks. No Furion, there's just no way to fight.
Losing the Furion also hurts because he's your big lane shover.
Yeah.
Just hard to find an equivalent exchange there. So in early racks, 30 minutes in, Falcons feeling very comfortable in this game 1.
And we've talked a lot about how older eras of Dota, they paid off so much more to be flexible, to adapt. And modern Dota has become much more about playing to your 99% of your potential. And it does kind of feel like, in some ways, Nigma Galaxy feels a bit lost how to be able to play the map and such with the setup that they have, right? With Sumail being in the mid lane, Lornoff not being able to have the experience advantage with the Nature's Prophet, to bully Falcons. Nice blink away.
It definitely feels a little awkward for them. It's just one of those things you're trying to adjust to get the better lane set up, which makes sense. But how many times have you played with this configuration? It's a risk. Everything's a risk. You just have to weigh the pros and cons. Trust your team to execute.
I mean, Skeeter is high net worth. He's also crazy high level. Level 24 in 31 minutes. Ooh, you're going to see a level 25 Sven not too soon.
He has a nice matchup against Asperion for a long time. The Harpoon is right here. That's an XPM. That'll do it. That'll absolutely do it. I don't know if you force high ground without another Aegis. I think technically you could here because you have the hearts. And you have the bailout from the disruption on the Shadow Demon.
Right.
It's just not Falcons' MO. I think they are a very conservative team when it comes to pushing high ground. They prefer to choke the map out, play for the next Roshan, get an Aegis, then choke the map out again. Sometimes for 60 minutes. And then once they're very confident they cannot lose that high ground fight or they find the pickoff, they will commit for that play. Big smoke bottom.
Well, they just have to make sure to kind of sweep back and forth through the map, make sure that these heroes aren't out on the map farming. Want to limit them as much as possible. Omar does a good job of breaking this smoke. Let's see if he can actually get away. Unlikely. Hook shot off the mark on the neutral camp that he was hoping to get away.
Got like pulled out of it by Harpoon.
Yeah, it felt
awkward. That's what you want, though. You want the Clockwork just breaking the moves here. He's not farming waves anyway.
Not Sumail, a little bit more farm.
Yep.
How much does this Aghanim Scepter change, though?
It's good in the Sven matchup for sure. Probably good in this Huskar one as well. Just being able to hop in one of these damage dealers, they can't hit you. You buy time for Rage to come off cooldown again. It's super nice.
But they do have an Ags on Huskar to kind of make sure you don't get the chance to infest in the first place.
You just have to find ways to outplay them in the team fight. That's what you're going back to if you're Nigma here, which is probably a big vacuum combo.
Yeah, because you have no saves, right? If they see the opportunity to go on Sumail, it's not like there's a bailout from Nigma Galaxy.
No.
It's pretty much just all in on a vacuum into a wall, maybe a stomp. Really good stomp. Might be able to save you, but kind of unlikely.
Oh, I saw that Spirit running top off the ward.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
They're just trying to bait someone top. See if Falcons bite the bait. They might.
Actually.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
Playing pretty close to them. Mar, he's going to find him down here. He's going to spot him. Pops the dust as the smoke breaks. Manages to get the hook shot. Laying onto the Huskar. Huskar, the Earth Splitter. Trouble. Does manage to do. Oh, pulled back in by the vacuum. Where are you going?
Great connection there. You want to reset, though. You don't want to overextend it.
Comes Skeeter. Looking for the opening on Sumail. Managed to hit him with a shot. The follow-up arrow lands, and down he goes.
Couldn't get out in time.
Stomp attempted from GH, trying to get away from the Centaur. Defy running away from the Sven, but Crit's going to hunt him down. A double for Crit. And yeah, Nigma Galaxy are not getting out of this unscathed. In fact, they are getting out of it worse for wear as they trade 1 for 3.
So hard to disengage there. It's almost like you had the instant TP with everybody, and I don't even know how you make that read. Stampede doing a lot of work on the re-engage. You always have that Earth Splitter threat. Again, he didn't go BKB. The Heart's not helping you against the spell.
Yeah, you weren't wrong about that matchup. We're seeing the power of the Elder Titan against this hero.
That's doing work.
It is just unfortunate that there are 2, or at least 1, much bigger threats.
You can only Earth Splitter one of these damage dealers. If they ever catch both, though, that is a world where that fight just goes Nigma's way. Even though they're behind gold here, they have a lot of spell power. Can never count an Elder Titan lineup out.
Well, then you have a Centaur save for one of them. So if you get all 3 cores...
Okay, yeah, now we're talking.
All right.
I think the cogs can do some work. It's not guaranteed he gets a card save off in time. Depends how fast that initiation is.
Disruption in Arrow. The support duo has an easy way to find these big offs around the map.
They've been setting up a lot of quick action. The gem's running on the Mirana too. You're just playing for that next Roshan. Sven already level 25 with the Swift Blink. Some disgusting timings here from Skeeter. I don't know how you deal with him.
Yeah, plus 50% God Strength damage. Also, levels mean more to Sven than they've ever mattered, I think. The talents are good, but also don't forget about the innate, right? He's one of the highest strength gain heroes in the game.
Get more damage.
And his innate is being buffed for every level. So every level he's getting more strength, and every level his innate is also getting stronger with that strength.
It's a lot of extra damage. People forget about it.
And, you can see right there, an extra 117 damage.
It only takes 3 or 4 hits to evaporate these heroes. There's no evasion. I guess you have a little bit with the Radiance. Did not feel like it in that last fight. Gonna try and get a butterfly on the NP. That helps a little bit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Can you contest the next Roshan here? That's the question for Nigma Galaxy. I think there's a world you can. Again, you have very good supports around the pit. Clockwork can give the vision, he can be disrupted. The ET Spirit's a great clump abuser, and you always have that vacuum.
But in theory, Falcons don't need a clump at all.
No, they can just stick Sven or Huskar in there.
One Huskar inside, and everybody else plays the margins.
That's why it's scary to contest.
Initiation from Omar. Not going to work out well for him.
Just fishing.
Doesn't find any kill, but he also doesn't die either. Skeeter even blinks forward and tries to catch him on the rebound, but...
They have Ags on the Lifestealer now. 5,000 gold on the Furion. See if Lornoff tries to one-shot this butterfly to give some extra surprise factor here. Could be his plan.
Yeah,
it's either that or you save buyback gold. I don't know if the buyback's doing much here.
Yeah.
I think you have to spend here if you're Furion. Trying to have as much damage from the team fight as possible.
How do you set up a surprise butterfly reveal? Like, do you try and bait Lornoff? Like, that still sounds kind of crazy.
No. You TP in the next fight with a fully completed butterfly. They have no information to go off. There's no time to build an MKB or anything.
Right.
It's a slight thing. I'm not saying it
turns and tries to kill Lornoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of, you know, getting 3-shot on Furion. He's like, why am I not doing any damage?
Pray to the RNG gods that the invasion comes to play. That Roche was very quick. So it's going to be high ground defense. Nice little banner. Aegis for the Huskar again. Let him siege the high ground. Let Sven deal with the waves. Mirana Ag's done too. That's the extra issue in this game is these supports are just going to find so much farm.
Omar, unfortunately, drops a ward in the triangle. They were actually going to think about making some sort of move. But Snaking just happened to be there, farming up the triangle with his gem, so he instantly kills the ward. Now they're right back to just kind of the expected play.
This is kind of the point where Nigma would want to make a move. You just bought out big items on all 3 of your cores.
Yeah.
You're not going to get much stronger for another round here, another 5 or 6 minutes. It just overlaps with this Aegis timing.
Yeah, knowing that Falcons with the Aegis likely to split up a little bit.
Yeah.
That ward, that aggressive ward should have been an opportunity for them to make a play off of, but instead they have no vision to play off of.
Have to be more patient here.
Going to take their triangle back.
Falcons not forcing the high ground yet. Kind of interesting.
Making them sweat.
Yeah, they are a team that like to choke the map. There's no reason to choke the map in this type of game. You're not waiting for anything. You're not necessarily getting that much stronger. You have a massive gold lead.
In a way, they are kind of 6-slotted.
Yes. Your Sven is ready to go. You don't wait with Sven. You send it.
Amar might send it straight to Samael. Nope. Do Falcons make that critical mistake of stacking Amar and Skeeter?
Cannot clump with
for
your
an
core.
opportunity for Divide.
You'd rather just let someone dive and stack with your core, honestly.
Yeah. Especially since Amar has the Aegis, there really is no need. They've got the save of the Centaur, they've got an extra life.
Maybe you can aggressively force staff him in.
What was that? Zombin hits Divide, managed to catch him. They go for an infest save. Hook shot, trying to throw everything they have. The bailout Divide allowed to get off spells. No hope. Skeeter just does far too much right now during this BKB window. Samael can't find him. It's not even close. They make a run back to the fountain. They're going to use supply bags here, and they're going to need the fountain. Force
he got arrowed.
Oh, wait, but he got arrowed on Samael. He ran in, and an arrow intended for Lorinov instead finds the face of Samael. A dieback for him, and the rest of Nigma Galaxy will huddle in their fountain. Nothing they can do. They could barely even stop Amar as is. They keep on pushing him away. He keeps on pushing himself away, toying with Nigma Galaxy with this jump in with his ultimate Hurricane Pike.
You always get the taunt. He is taunting them on multiple levels here. No chance for Nigma Galaxy in these 5-on-5s. Lineup just got online way too quickly here. And the lane swap shenanigans. I don't think it looked too bad in terms of the laning, but it definitely made this game really awkward to play.
Just keep taunting him, trying to combo to get the three-man vacuum into a stomp into a wall. Unfortunately, no Earth Splitter, so no real damage to follow it up. Drone exposed, they're gonna pop the glyph, but there's still 30+ seconds for two more of their heroes. And they can hardly take a 5-on-5, let alone a 3-on-6. All the way into the fountain goes Amar to finish things in style. Falcons, an extremely dominant game one.
That's about as one-sided as you can hope for on the TI main stage. They were very comfortable, very confident. They get their heroes, they get the kind of lineup they want to play. They throw that lane swap at the end that forced Nigma into a tough decision. Do we play the lane straight up and realize our match is too bad, or do we try and swap this slice through the mid to salvage it? I don't want to see Lorinov on a side lane next game. I think that's the biggest thing for me, even regardless of the matchup. And if the Huskar pick puts you in that position where you feel so pressured to take him off the mid lane, then I think you can't be in that position in the first place. Yeah, because you need this guy to pop off.
Just too much when it comes to the draft. I mean, Kuro, old school when it comes to the coach. They're just they know that there are opportunities to be able to make these sort of things. I mean, this is something you come from an old school era as well. You've been talking about, like,
not that
where the tri lanes, where the lane swaps, like where are these sorts of things? And you could see it seems like, you know, you do that, it comes with a hefty risk, right?
For sure. I like that they were thinking about it. I don't think the swap was bad in terms of the lane. Again, I think it's just how this team functions. Like, this is a team that needs Lorinov to control the game.
Yes.
Control the pace, the win condition especially. He did not feel like the win condition in that game. Yeah. And some of that's the lane swap, some of it's also the draft. Is Furion even going to carry this game? I think the way he carries it is having such a strong early game presence that he's 5 or 6K net worth ahead, and you're winning fights, you're winning Roshans.
Yeah.
I don't think he can do that from the safe lane against the Huskar of all heroes. Just not doable.
And Falcons also take a risk, right? But there's a reason right there. They are veterans at the game. Nigma Galaxy, a relatively young roster, recently put together before the TI qualifiers. You could see inexperience hurt them here.
There's risks and there's calculated risks, right? That's the one that Falcons took here, changing that Centaur into mid instead of its traditional off-lane role. The Huskar going to Amar as well. But big prop still here for Nigma Galaxy. And Samael, he goes, this is the reason I swapped the carry. So I can every now and then have a mid game for himself. But I'm still a mid Quinn. That's the question mark we have.
Yeah. To be honest, I think it's a pretty reasonable switch because you know that your lanes are going to be really bad otherwise. Lifesteal is going to get crushed by Huskar, so you say, okay, let's create maybe a better scenario. It's just not good enough. And even past, like, to be honest, they're not down that much gold. I think the real issue is their heroes don't work very well together because the laning phase wasn't that bad. They were only down like maybe 1K at 10 minutes. That's fine.
I mean, I do think for Nigma, it's the best thing they could have done in that situation. Like, had Nature's Prophet gone mid, it doesn't matter what kind of lane he would have had, it would have been a loss even earlier if your Lifestealer doesn't have a game. Because what ended up happening in this game is Huskar took a lot of attention, had a lot of pressure, forced a lot of TPs, tanked a few deaths even, but Skeeter on his Sven was farming up a storm. And the issue was this Sven scaling is very hard to deal with.
And I feel like this is exactly what Falcons wanted to accomplish, right? They present Huskar, so it's so much of a problem that we spend all our time talking about Huskar. Niga spends all their time thinking about Huskar, and nobody thinks about Sven. He just gets to do his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're also looking at how do we make sure that we have the best lane matchup. And this has to be, I mean, Skeeter is an amazing carry, but this has to be one of those rivaling performances for him when it comes to XPM. That's the one that I think is most important, because normally we look at GPM, we will always focus on, okay, when are you going to get certain item timing so your carry can join you in fights? But what was it? He was level 19 at 23 minutes, I believe it was. It was something egregious.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's out of control, and he's playing a Blink Stun hero, which is what he loves. You know, he wants to get up in there. He wants to be a part of fights. His other two players are the real cores, and he's like he's really the offlaner, to be honest, on this team. But he was the carry and the offlaner in this game. He kind of had all the hats on at once, and he owned. And I think this game really shows the difference between like a team that has a ton of experience and a team that has worked together for a long time compared to a team that is new, right? Like Nigma Galaxy, they were the higher seed, but they are the much newer team with the much easier group stage path. And I think Falcons showing, hey, we're the big dogs for a reason.
Yeah, 1,183 XPM is pretty insane. But when you have your team just drawing the attention of the enemy and forcing them to one side of the map, and you have free reign in this patch, you can make a lot of gold. And I can see why Skeeter, this TI, has been going back to heroes like Sven, because with the heroes that Falcons have been running, like the Necrophos flex, the Centaur flex, and the Huskar, it creates situations for him to just have free farm. And while he does play the offlaner role, like you mentioned, Skeeter has shown us time and time again that he can carry if that's the role that he's put in. If he's the hero who's going to do the damage, he will do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Falcons idea in many ways is like we have 3 cores that are all going to pressure very heavily, and then like one of them or 2 of them will get out of control. You can't answer all the problems that we present to you. You don't have enough damage for all 3 of them. And it's kind of interesting. When we saw this draft, Nigma ends up banning Alchemist and Tiny in the last phase. And then they literally picked the 3rd hero that does the exact same thing. Like Alk, Tiny, and Sven are all the same guy. Whichever one of them that was left through, they would have picked that one.
Yeah.
And I think this speaks to like how Falcons, that's the kind of team they are. They will always put themselves in positions where they can do the same thing they did last time, and you don't actually have a way to respond to it.
Well, it works for them. In game 1, at least, it definitely does. And whilst we love what Skeeter was able to do on the Sven, being such an unsung hero, there was a lot of focus put on this Huskar on the side of Nigma Galaxy, but that's exactly where Purge wants to put his focus as well.
Thank you, Nat. Yeah, the Huskar on the side lane, it's something that Amar does slightly, semi-regularly. He's known for it, but the way that he laned it against Lornoff was quite interesting. Now, if you don't know, when you right-click enemy heroes, it creates a little aggro around your hero, and any enemy creeps in there are going to run at you. And that's why these dire creeps are running in this direction every time that they get near. You're going to see Crit do the same thing. He's going to walk up here, right-click an enemy hero briefly, and it's going to pull aggro from the creeps, and what they're trying to do is get these range creeps here below half HP so they can get a deny. So this was the big priority. And normally players prioritize having at least one hero that has an ability that they can use to secure the range creep, because that's where the majority of the gold or a significant portion of that and the experience are. So these denies kept coming from the Falcon side. And the whole goal is that they hit level 2 before their opponents. They get more golden experience than their opponents, and they got a huge amount of these denies here. Here's another one at a minute 40. That was the first range creep that Nigma Galaxy actually secured there in the safe lane, which helped their trajectory. And even here, Amar pulling 2 melee creeps to get the range creep when nobody's remotely close. He's just consistently denying creeps to make sure that his lane goes okay, that he hits his level 2, that he hits his level 3. Lornoff even forced to use his Sprout to secure last hits, and when that happens, they end up getting more opportunities to go for kills. Again, pulling the range creeps back and controlling the wave almost entirely. But eventually, they can start going for kills too. The Sprout gets wasted, GH gets a little bit aggressive, and Falcons realize, oh, we can actually walk forward at him now, because he's forced to use his spells just to try to get gold and experience. So securing these kills are really instrumental, helps keep this Nature's Prophet hero, who is arguably the fastest farming hero of this tournament so far. They kept him back, even in this moment too, pressuring Amar here on the lane. Sprout to the left, he gets a TP in from Mallory, and there's this the Stampede, and a really easy kill. So excellent laning there by the Falcons to lane swap the Huskar where he needed to go to keep the heroes locked down on Nigma Galaxy to give them a very easy win.
A beautiful display. Thank you so much, Purge. Outlining, yes, what we saw in draft and what we coined as a fantastic move from Falcons, but breaking down exactly why that early part, that lane is so detrimental. And it really ties back to what Cap and SVG were saying too, where, sure, this Nature's Prophet needed to be the win condition, but was not set up in any way, shape, or form to be a win condition.
Yeah, he's also got two really heavy farmers on his other lanes. Lifestealer just farms, so he doesn't make any moves. And Darkseer is honestly a very, very farm-oriented offlane here. So you've got three dudes who all need the same thing. No one's willing to make space for them. Me and Aiden were talking about it backstage, but having two melee supports on your team is often a pretty big hindrance because neither one of them really does damage oftentimes. The typical archetypes, they tend to be set up and not follow up, and so you can end up in situations where it's hard to actually make kills happen because your two dudes do the same job.
Shifting our focus a little bit away of the nitty-gritty when it comes to this game number one and this best of three, and looking at our focus of what were these teams doing between groups and our main event here? How were they preparing for themselves, and how happy were they? More importantly, GH and Sumail giving us their time there during the group stage and main stage.
Throughout the group stage, we had our first defeat against Team Iron Wing.
We choked a bit, and then after that we just grouped ourselves together, and it's pretty smooth sailing from there.
Starting the first game, it went a bit rough, first years actually, and then it started getting better slowly. And now we're 4-1 in the group stage.
Going against Falcons, I am predicting a 2-0, to be honest, for us.
Coming into this TI, we had a relatively weak boot camp. I think we had some struggles, but we picked it up slowly in this event and a bit before we came here. So I'm very confident against them, and I believe we have good chances. Honestly, every tournament I go to, well, be it TI or any other tournament, I really don't put any expectations, because usually when I put expectations for myself at least, it kind of sets me in a bad mindset, so I just remove all expectations.
I think going to TI, I always have the mindset to like either win or there's no other result that you're happy with. So nothing has changed, I would say, so far.
Well, TI compared to any other tournament always feels special, for me at least. It's the air feels different, the stage feels different, and this year is going to be in Shanghai, so I believe the last time we played TI in Shanghai was in 2019. China has always been kind to us. We always had a lot of success here. I'm very grateful for that. I think this time, I hope it's going to be the same. I'm extremely excited to play in front of a crowd and to have some parts of my family support me being here, so I'm happy for that. Ni hao to the Chinese fans, and hope you support us too, and hope we give you a good time.
TI is, I don't know, I won my first one, and in my back of my head that I'm gonna win like at least 2 more. And then I've been playing for like 11 years since, I haven't done it. So it's just something I'm always chasing. I think this year looks pretty good though, so let's see.
8 TI appearances for Sumail, one of them a win, but for him, 2 more is needed to feel a little bit of satisfaction. And yes, the group stage looked great for them. There was this streak, 8 games in a row they won. It's broken in game number 1 by Falcons here, but that doesn't mean Nigma Galaxy can't come back and say here. It's a best of 3 for a reason, and I truly believe with what this new Nigma Galaxy is showing, an adaptation and a readiness to learn from that game 1 is very there.
I think they got trapped into playing Falcons game. And I think a lot of great teams have been trapped into playing Falcons game, and it always ends up with you losing. I think when you end up playing this game, Falcons are just way too good. These players are too skilled, they're too comfortable, they're too happy to play this kind of game. So I think for them, it's all about trying to create a scenario where it doesn't look like this, and they get to play their stuff. They get to do like the Lornoff macro, they get to set up their game, and Falcons now has to respond to them. Because I think Falcons are also kind of bad when they're put in that position. Mm-hmm. They need to play their own game.
I'm glad there was a little bit more to that sentence, because I would have been scratching my head there. As Falcons and Nigma Galaxy are both going to be taken to the stage once again. It is Nigma Galaxy potentially on the back foot. It's how you look at losses, the way that you can learn and grow from them and make those quick adaptations in a best of 3. It didn't feel like any foundations or fundamentals for the side of Nigma Galaxy Mirror were an issue. So whether you want to chalk it up to draft, even if it's something you might not like to do, it feels that's one of the easiest ways to move on and restart for game 2.
For sure. If you can just say, we messed up in the draft. We got
Husked.
What can you do that allows you to talk about what it is that you want to approach in terms of your game plan versus Falcons? Because like Insania mentioned, Falcons, if they're on the back foot and they're playing from behind, they don't necessarily look like a good comeback team. They struggle in these situations. Fundamentally, Falcons are a team that will skill check you when it comes to laning. Their players are the best in the world at laning, maybe second to Boom Boys, who are also exceptionally good at it. But from there, if you are in a situation where you've given them winning lanes, the game is difficult from then on. So if you're Nigma, you go into this game too thinking about what heroes can you pick early on in your draft, what supports can you pick that enable your lanes and make sure you're not in a situation like that.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. And I think another thing that we always found gave us a lot of success against Falcons was they push waves a lot. I think the thing Aiden said about like they're kind of just everywhere, pushing all the waves and farming on everyone all at once, and you feel like you can't catch everyone and they're just getting more gold than you. And so I think having heroes that can chat up and just push the waves in and take some areas so that you get vision, you're the one who's taking the space. Because then I think when they're clumped, those players feel really uncomfortable when they're not all able to get farm, because that is how they play. They are a trident, of course, with the support standing behind them. And so if you're the ones who are up in their faces, we would pick stuff like Terrorblade or Lina that we can just go push the waves. We kill them without people seeing us. And then now suddenly we see where they are and they don't have this, constant wave push threat.
Do you think that that's a better approach than potentially having a core and a support that can try and pick off a hero, and then another 2 cores and a support that can be elsewhere, trying to still overwhelm them in numbers if they're trying to solo push out waves?
I think a combination of both is really nice. Having like those sort of kill pairs, not too many numbers, because you don't want to get sucked into being too many people in one place, because they're everywhere. And so you have to commit some heroes here and you kill one guy, but at the same time the others are farming, I think is sort of your ideal setup.
Yeah, I think in my ideal game against Falcons, every 2 pairs of our heroes kills them. So like if it's my carry on my 5 or my carry on my mid, or if it's my 5 and my 4, like whatever way you can create a situation where as few heroes as possible kills the Falcons heroes that shows on waves, you're going to do good. And I think really even more important than killing them, I think is, like you said, is taking their map space away, because these guys want a big map. They want like tier 1 towers to fall early on. They tend to make a lot of moves towards Amar's lane to try to open up the tower early on when he hits a certain timing. And I think preventing these things from happening really hinders their game.
And with that being said, that just brings us back to the draft, right? It's because the Huskar looked so good because they had a Clockwork and they had a Elder Titan. Well, what do you do after that?
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's linear, straightforward at all. This was right at the beginning of TI, one of the most joyous moments that you can have with your teammates coming back to TI together is getting those rings after 12 months of lifting the Aegis. It's definitely a feeling very few have gotten to do for themselves. And like I said, to return as a 5 stack, a stack that has come back together for their 3rd TI when it comes to Falcons.
Yeah, it must be so special to be bound by not only the time you spent together in the tournaments you played, but you got the crown jewel, the accomplishment you've been striving for, you got it. And you get to see that sort of realized and immortalized in the ring you get 12 months later, like, oh yeah, we did that. And you have this sort of sense of gratefulness that like, we went through all this and maybe this year felt kind of crappy, but like, remember what we did last year? And we get the chance to do that again. And I can't imagine how special that feels.
It's funny how this year is crappy for them when they got so many top 4s anyway, but any other team would have been content with a year like they had. They didn't get any first places, but they got so many podium finishes. And for them, it's just an awful year. This is a team that expects to win, like you mentioned, Insania. It's either first place or last place. And it seems like because of their year, maybe some teams are underestimating them. They're forgetting about some of their specialty heroes. They're forgetting about their Huskars and their Flexes, because we heard in that interview, Samil thought they'd come in with a very strong 2-0.
Look, whether you want to put that up to Nigma Galaxy, confident in their ideas, or if it's a little bit of I need to fake it till I make it, either way, it's not looking like a 2-0 for Nigma Galaxy, but a game 2 is on the cards.
Nigma Galaxy versus Team Falcons. Game 2.
Looking at those results, talking about those results, Mira, something that Falcons have always coined for themselves is how much they thrive on consistency. And so often throughout years, whether it's visa issues or whether it's an adjustment with one of their teammates maybe being off a little bit mentally, it feels like they suffer drastically from that. But when I look at what has been the lead up into TI, there has been a consistency for them. How well they did in those group stages of EWC, how well they did for the online tournament before coming into TI, it really is quite an interesting aspect of why aren't people maybe rating Falcons a little bit higher? But you also can't blame them when their group stage was shaky.
Yeah, it almost feels a bit disrespectful towards them in that sense, if because their results aren't the usual, that you maybe let your guard down and let some heroes through. We see in this game too that Huskar is banned in that first phase. Nigma don't want that smoke. They've just decided that this hero changes their drafts too much. It changes the way that they want to play the game, and they're going in a different direction.
Yeah, it's a good idea. But what it's a little unsettling or worrying maybe is how much time they're using on this first pick. It's typically the thing that's the most planned out. You know all the variables. Oftentimes you can predict what will be banned based on what other teams ban, but they still spent 40 seconds of their reserve time on it, which to pick the same hero they picked last game, which now it's a little bit different circumstances as the Huskar's banned, but still that doesn't bode a ton of confidence whenever you use a ton of thought on the most prepared pick.
Yeah. And I would assume Falcons responds kind of similarly to game one. I think Centaur is pretty good, no?
Yeah, I would think so.
He goes into both lanes, and I think that's like really the main thing that you want to hit with this pick. It's a hero that responds to Nature's Prophet that you can run in both lanes. I also think if you're banning Earth Spirit on first pick, it's a pretty worrisome sign for like the tournament as a whole. Because this hero has shown, like, proven to be so dominant that if you're banning it on first pick, you're definitely banning it on second pick as well.
Yeah. That is like a very good point. It's something teams think about in the heroes they try to play or they try to make people think they play. Is you have to think about not just this series but the whole tournament. And now when you've shown, hey, we're banning Earth Spirit both sides, that means the enemy team saves a ban whenever they're second pick, and that can really add up over time. It can restrict the number of heroes you have that you get to choose between playing.
I mean, for first pick, it's a massive deal. You only have 3 bans, and one of those is guaranteed now Earth Spirit for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
You essentially just have 1 ban less to work with than every other team.
And you've got another issue with the Huskar ban taking up space that you didn't talk about. I do think a big part of why this first pick took so long for Nigma was that they got given the Enchantress, and they got given heroes they didn't think they would like the Necrophos. You saw ATF walked by you and just yelled, "I'm going to first pick Necrophos."
Yeah, may have been fibbing a little bit there, but I think the Centaur is a much better response. It makes sense against
it was banned in game 1.
I was going to say,
That's true.
Game 1, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but game 2, straight up lying.
Fair.
Unless he meant overall first pick, like if they had opener, that's
what he would say. I feel like he would find a way to like
move the goalpost a bit.
Exactly. Get his
I'm a
way
man
out.
of honor.
Yeah, exactly.
He was still telling the truth there. Look, the Enchantress does eventually get banned out by Nigma Galaxy, and completely understandable for Falcons. It's a flex when it comes to supports. A 4 or a 5, it still leaves so much open for them. And at the end of the day, when we saw Enchantress get played earlier by Yandex, we're seeing it kill cores. That's insane that a support at as early as 20 minutes is more than willing to man up and fight a core.
I mean, that part of Enchantress is amazing, but what makes Enchantress even better for Falcons, it ties back to like the concept of their team that we talked about. And it's the fact that this hero can farm creeps from a safe distance. She takes over a creep, she sends it on a creep wave, like on a mission far, far away, and then it just cuts all of your creep waves. And you have to run all the way back to your base to go kill this stupid creep, and then he just takes over a new creep, so you might not even get gold for killing it. And you wasted all this time, and it just buys times for the rest of them to farm up their items and, you know, build that big map in that regard.
And on top of that, she is enemy number 1 of the mid lane. Enchantress and good Enchantress players will always rotate with that first siege creep to the mid lane, try to kill the enemy mid laner. They'll take the creeps in the triangle, and they will be oppressing them for as long as possible. And for Nigma, that we talked about, Lorinov being their win condition and their primary carry player in the sense that he's going to be taking most of the GPM, Enchantress is a very, very bad fit for that stylistically.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. This Dazzle ban repeated is so funny to me that
I
these are the
respect
heroes. Yeah, I do too. And I think it's cool when teams have a really specific read on like, this may seem like not that important of a hero. It's just a 5 hero that no one else plays. A lot of people think it's trash, but for some reason, Falcons have decided that they think it's crucial to the way this team functions. And I think that is Like, that's what's really cool about some of the best teams, is how they analyze bans and what they feel like makes a team really tick. Because that's what you're kind of doing when you're preparing, is what do we think of the heroes and the playstyle that really makes this team function? What's at the center of the machine?
Yeah, for Nigma, their supports haven't had very big hero pools so far. And in the last game, GH's hero pool also got target banned, and he ended up on that ET, which didn't look so hot. I mean, Bane is something that he's also been running that when ignored in that last game, it's something that they could look towards and then pick a hoodwink for Omar, just anything with kill threat. But I do think it's a very cool concept when without your support, your draft falls apart.
Yeah, I was going to say they do leave open, I was going to say a Mirana Hoodwink combo for the side of Nigma Galaxy, but changing it up, adding another hero into the support pool for themselves of a Bounty Hunter.
I mean, this hero seems to be the hero of the day. I feel like Team Vision played it.
Yep.
And Saksa played it.
Yep, Yandex
and now Nigma's playing it too. So it just seems like probably during these off days, it's been scrimmed a lot. It's kind of the vibe I get. Sometimes this happens where like you get 3 days off, people start scrimming, and for whatever reason, some team starts playing a hero, and then like they're the first scrim of the day, and then it just like trickles into all the other scrims.
And they're also playing opposite sides of the bracket, so there's no way that Nigma Galaxy was scrimming up against a Falcons or potentially even like a Liquid or a Yandex.
Yeah.
So they might have even gotten it from Vision themselves.
Exactly. And then like the whole thing just develops, right, in these 3 off days, and you're like, oh, where did this come from? And it was picked in group. It's not like completely out of nowhere, but the popularity of it, I feel like, is new.
100% agree.
And there's a Necro.
I wonder what Nigma are planning to do to really activate the Bounty Hunter, because I'm looking at their draft, and to me, it doesn't make that much sense. Because, like, you're going to track things, sure, and maybe NP can TP in, but your Mirana isn't enabled. Your Bounty Hunter isn't going to be setting up very comfortably on either Centaur or Necrophos. His gameplay is very unclear as of the draft right now.
I think for Nigma, it's about setting up their macro. You're trying to set up like ways for Lorinov to TP in. You're trying to set up for ways for them to play the vision game, kind of try to play that slow game, and not so much focused on like how do we win the fight, and rather like how do we contest Falcon on the map.
I just worry if you can actually play the slow game. Like when I think about the Vision game where they won earlier, where you just drop a bounty, they were winning because they went ham and they killed a bunch of heroes and they sped the game up like crazy. And if I look at this game, there is a Necrophos for which you have very little magic damage. When he presses Ghost Shroud, he's not going to die. There's a Centaur who's going to press Stampede, a Clockwork who cogs and runs away. Like, there's a lot of heroes that it's not that easy for you to feed off of. And these heroes have no team fight. Well, I can't say that anymore, but they had no team fight. And I also think, like, if you put a Necrophos safe lane, right, if Skitter plays it, suddenly this Darkseer's losing lane, and you can end up in a situation where you've got a lot of heroes that want kills, and a Darkseer that's farming, and you can't get those.
I mean, I guess you can do cool things now. Like, you can stack Ancients on Bounty Hunter if there are no clear kills or map disruptions to be made, and you can just get Ion Shelled and, you know, stand around invisibly. This is very old school Darkseer farming GPM combination. That could be something they do.
Yep. And I found it interesting. Nigma's like, they're like banning Sven, and I'm pretty sure the next ban is going to be Tiny or Alk, and then Skitter's just going to pick like whichever one of them's left over.
You think that it still needs to be that archetype of carry though for Skitter, or could you see him playing more of like a range, let's say a Wind Ranger or a Shadow Fiend or something like that?
I mean, I feel like he's just going to play Alk, and like there is a world in which he plays the Necro. I don't hate that idea. I think if for whatever reason they want to put the Centaur on the off lane and pick Malrine as well, that option definitely exists. But I think this is the cool thing about Falcons. Like, when you get to this point in the draft, first of all, you know none of their lanes. And you have to ban 2 of Skeeter's Blinkstun heroes, because he's going to want to play one of those. And even then, he might not. Because they have so many options when they reach this point.
There's also the option of Clinks, and that's his most played carry of this tournament. It's not a hero that gives Darkseer a good illusion, and it can eat one of the Ion Shelled creeps, making the laning stage a lot simpler.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good call. And they have plenty of disables and plenty of lockdowns, so he can play a Blink Stun if he wants, but I think he will do it if it's good game matchups on the Blink Stun hero, not necessarily for the draft as a whole, which I think is a lot of times the reason. This game, they have Clockwork starting, they have Centaur starting, like, they got plenty of that, and so they can have some more. You don't necessarily...
It's not bad.
Yeah, but they don't need it. And so it should be, I think this last pick, you're in a situation which you're super happy about, which is your draft is kind of well-rounded already. You got stuns and follow-up and team fight and stuff, so now you just want a good game matchup that scales.
They're going to have overall last pick, and like you guys have already pointed out multiple times, flexibility coming out for the side of Falcons, but Nigma Galaxy find a Wind Ranger for themselves here, and so are we seeing Lorinov hopefully go back into the mid with a Nature's Prophet, or
I don't really know. I mean, they have options to decide this for themselves. I think whenever you end up running like double turret heroes, like 2 ranged carry heroes on the same draft, it always presents some problems for you because you have 2 boys that essentially don't want to go in first, and they want everybody else to like kind of do the dirty work and then come in and clean up. And you can have one of those. You actually want one of those most of the time, but you don't really like having 2. And Darkseer, in some ways, kind of plays that kind of game too, where he ideally wants somebody else to go in, and then I can blink vacuum everybody and like suck them into some nice situation. So I feel like Nigma right now, they kind of lack, like when I look at their draft, I see a lot of problems like that they might run into. If they play extremely well and they find these like clutch openings, you can absolutely still make it happen. But I think for Falcons, it just looks a lot more stable.
I think Nigma have a read that it's an offlane Necrophos, and they think that Wind Ranger has a good lane against it, and it's a hero that can buy an early nullifier, and they prioritize that over the redundancy of having those 2 turret heroes. This can work if their lanes go very well. The caveat is, what if their lanes don't? What's the plan B? There's no setup for this Mirana arrow. Getting track kills will not be easy. You're just going to have to outskill. And if you're playing to farm, Falcons would love to be in that situation.
Yeah, the lack of ways to set up arrow and then kill combos is very true, and I think it's to the exact opposite of what we talked about, how you beat Falcons. What combos on Nigma Galaxy's lineup really kill people together? You've got a Bounty Hunter and a Wind Ranger maybe, but besides that, does Nature's Prophet work with Potom, Mirana, or does Wind Ranger work with Mirana? These combos are weird and awkward. Darkseer doesn't help these heroes really. There's no heroes to Shell or to Surge. It's very strange synergy between the heroes. They don't particularly work well together.
Well, Falcons ran down that clock literally until 5 seconds, but Insanie is cool all the way from the ban phase.
It's truly shocking. I can't believe he picked one of the 3 heroes that does the exact same thing as the 2 heroes that were banned previously.
But is it, that game for is it where it's one of those things that, yes, it's very telegraphed, it's very scripted in a way, but my goodness, it is going to give them that extra oomph.
I don't think it's not like, oh my god, Alec, what do we do? It's super game winning, but it's more like if I'm Falcons and I look at my heroes, I'm like, we got everything that we wanted. Nothing like, there's no hurdles for us. Whereas I feel like for Nigma, I look at it and I'm thinking like, is this truly what they wanted before they came into this game? Is this the draft that they had in mind? Or is this the fact that like Falcons presented problems and we try to fix those problems through our draft?
Now that this Alec has come out, I actually think Nigma have a chance to play for a later scaling and win off of that if they wanted to. Again, it's going to depend on them not getting crushed on the lanes and having the opportunity to play. But had it been a Clinks, for example, the scaling would have been better than both turrets on the side of Nigma. That's not the case now.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I think the preparation Falcons Day, whether it be Owie or the rest of the team, they've done a masterclass because I think Nigma has been outbrained and outstrategized in both these games in draft. And I think there's some hurdles to overcome because I think Falcons cooked.
Well, Falcons cooking is only one part of it. It's all down to execution as well. And so even though it's difficult, do we think Nigma Galaxy are going to live up to that standard? Again, they come in as the highest seed.
I think Nigma, to be honest, they proved in game 1 that like their fundamentals were so solid. And I feel like despite them not having like the ideal setup from the draft, they were able to contest to a certain point in the game. And if they're able to do that again, I think at least compared to last game, they have more playability in this game. I think last game it was a lot tougher. This time it's a lot more playable, though again, there are issues that they need to overcome, but it's not issues that you can't fix through skill.
I agree. I don't think it's that bleak. I think there's no one hero that's creating a massive problem for Lorinov in particular. So this is a different kind of Nature's Prophet. We're going to see he's going to be TPing in on the Alchemist. He's going to be playing on these side lanes and trying to add tempo to his team, which is going to be the difference maker here.
AOI's the GOAT. AOI's the GOAT.
You're sticking to
it. I'm with the birds. I'm with the birds.
All right, you're sticking to it that you fully have faith in what Owie is doing it for himself. I can see a little bit behind me. You guys can't. Now, hopefully they are ready because I do believe Tsunami and Owie are ready to give us a bit more insight into how this game 2 draft played out.
That's correct. I'm standing by with AUI 2000, coach of Falcons. You are getting a lot of praise from our panel for your drafts this series. What would you say is your confidence level compared to the average Falcons draft during group stage?
I think our drafts were pretty good this series. I mean, Amar does most of the drafting, so that's a lot on him. But I think it was pretty good.
And then in terms of preparation, I feel like in many tournaments, many TIs, there's a group stage meta, and then it kind of evolves into a playoff meta. This is now the 9th game of our playoffs so far. Do you see any difference emerging quite yet?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think most teams just looked at Paravision and how they're playing the map, and that's like the biggest development since the group stage. I'm not too sure on heroes if there's been a lot. It's a bit hard to play pubs in this region, to be honest. So like it doesn't develop as fast.
And then in terms of one hero, maybe I can get your opinion on it. Bounty Hunter has been trending quite a bit today, especially. What's your opinions on it?
No, I think the hero's pretty good. I think it was already sort of getting popular before this tournament. And I don't know, there's like this guy called Serpent who's just sniping couriers on the EU server. Some people are like watching him and like, he's very annoying. So I think that's like the new meta.
You think it's a role model for how we should be playing this at TI?
Yeah, maybe. It's like the 9-class Monkey King, but you're invisible and you have tracks, so it's pretty good.
Well, let's see if it works out or if you have the solution. Good luck in this game as we send it to our casters.
The bird is the word. It seems like everybody is favoring Falcons going into this game 2, but Nigma Galaxy have been here before. They've had some rough games before. In fact, the very first group stage game they had, Avery, we casted it, and it was not a good time. It was perhaps the worst I've seen from Nigma Galaxy in quite some time, but they bounced back. They looked great for the rest of the group stage. Is that possible here, Avery?
Oh, absolutely. This is a team that can recover. They're not going to tilt out. They're not going to choke out. They have too much veteran experience in those leadership roles. They just need to figure out how to make the game flow a little better. I honestly think Nigma is one of those teams where I don't honestly care what they draft. I care a lot more how they play and how the game's flowing for them, particularly for that man in the mid lane, Lornal. I think if he's cooking, if he's controlling the tempo, getting them off to a good start, stabilizing the map, this team is going to look good with almost anything, and they're always going to have an upbeat attitude. They're never going to GG out early. They're going to make it work. They're going to find a way. I kind of believe in that. That said, Falcons are always a test in that regard. They throw you off your game. They make it so the game doesn't flow that well, and they're going to try and do that.
Eater might be getting in some trouble here. The blood grenade thrown out. The Iron Shell's going to burn him down. They do manage to get that first blood over to Divide. Maybe even a second blood. Wait a minute. The 4 and 3 of Nigma Galaxy are cooking in the off lane. A double for Divide.
You got first blood game 1, too. So they've been overperforming in these early stages. We heard the panel talk about the last bands going into the pick. The Tiny, the Sven, and the Alchemist. I think it was important to give the Alchemist there. I think if they gave Sven or Tiny, the scale and the map pressure that the Darkseer was going to be able to create is a lot worse. I think they have way better tools against the Alch. The wall illusion is a lot more influential with the Radiance plus some of the other auras. The Bounty Hunter can harass them in the jungle, potentially set kills up with Furion TPing in, and you have a lot of lane shove that this Outcast has to respond to. So I actually think those bans were on point. I think this was the hero you wanted to give Skeeter in this situation, and there are going to be some openings to potentially abuse it here.
There's another hero we got to talk about, though. A player-hero combination. Amar and his Necrophos. Now, Falcons, this was a bad pickup for them early on in the group stage. It was not working whatsoever. And you said this was a hero they had to keep picking and had to work for them. Why?
I think Amar has this idea of they can make Necro work, and it's a true flex for them, and it becomes a threat. It's going to open up a lot of their lines, because then you can start to pick it earlier in the middle of that draft, and you're going to keep so many options open for yourself. Falcons needs a couple cores that they can flex around between Amar and Malrine specifically, but across all 3 lanes, they will put this hero. We're seeing it with the Centaur in this series, right? They need to be able to early pick cores and have the flexibility to make their draft work. I think Amar really likes this concept, and I think Necrophos is one of those that fits into a T. So in that sense, they need either the Necro or the Centaur. Some of these early cores to flex around, I think the Necro is the one who was trying to force them most. There's some unsuccessful games for sure, but as a draft tool, it's super powerful. So he's going to bust it out here. It's an okay Necrophos game. I don't think he's up against some of the hardest counters in Dota, but he's not abusing any big melee heroes. The Wind Ranger can be a tough matchup. The Darkseer one's kind of negligible, and I think the Furion's the really bad one here. There's a lot of lane shove. The Furion is really mobile. Again, you're a static hero in this game. A lot of static cores for Falcons if Nigma can get off to a fast start. I would really like to see them play this game at a fast pace. Don't let Falcons just farm the map, and we might see a game 3.
It does make a lot of sense that this was crucial for a drafting perspective. If Amar, we heard AEY very humbly, the praise should go to Amar. He's the one doing most of the drafting. Close call, close call.
Yeah. Skill shots.
So if Amar is like, he feels like, this is a must-win situation for us. We have to get this Necro up and running so we can flex it in the draft, and he is the drafter. That makes a lot of sense. It's a formula that they won TI with. We're sure to be able to go back to it here, but He's definitely a little bit rough against Wind Ranger sometimes.
He's not having a lot of fun, though. The Wind Ranger's also not having too much fun down here. Sumail is not CSing really well. The lane got pushed in pretty deep. It's this top lane that's really blowing open the laning phase right now. Overperforming on this Bounty Hunter plus Darkseer early on. You do ramp up pretty fast, but they got a lot of extra gold out of that early double kill. And now they're just wave cutting, pushing towards the Helm. And the second the Helm comes out, this Bounty Hunter can roam. You don't really have the best kill threat mid. I'd say you roam into that Necrophos lane with potential Furion ports. That's the real point of abuse here. Falcons need to read these moves and defend them well. There's the TP.
Here it comes.
With the Ion Shell, that's what makes this move extra deadly.
Damage against a hero that is susceptible to the magic damage. You have a teleport coming in as well. Just you think you're getting away with Ghost Shroud. There's Lorinov popping out with the Sprout. GH, the one to get the last hit.
The exact move you wanted. That's the point of pressure. Those are the exact heroes you want combining for that kill. The Furion instantly can head back towards mid. Doesn't cost you anything. And he will have Wrath of Nature here in another wave. So this Furion pace is going to look a lot different than game one. And that is something you have to consider. I think Nigma Galaxy are very confident in what this hero can do for them. We just didn't see it be able to function at that level due to the lane swap.
Do you think they're going to run it back? Like, you don't have the teleport on Furion, but do you think they're going to try and set up another kill on Necro with the Wrath of Nature?
You're either going to one of these side lanes. I'm not attacking Centaur mid. I just don't care about Centaur mid. It cannot be the biggest point of focus. It has to be either Necros or Alchemist if you're trying to slow down in this early game and feed some extra kills off of. I'm going back
tackle on him. Oh, here comes that Wrath of Nature. It was a close call, but he lives.
There's a Bounty Hunter behind.
Yeah, Mar, if he was here a little bit sooner, in fact, still will manage to get... Oh, no, the power shot missed!
Where are the skill shots, man?
Oh, Sumail. A whiff there on a setup little stun from Omar that should have been free, and Lorinov is going to pay the price for this one.
Just one fairy.
Teleporting in. Yeah, they do have a lot of extra regen for Lorinov. They're going to pop the Stampede. Snaking's going to go down first. Can they finish off Lorinov? They do, but Maureen is low enough that he'll die to the tower. A double for Lorinov after death.
That's a lot of experience for GH. He's almost level 6 all of a sudden.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I don't know if Nigma mind that too much. This Centaur's getting a lot out of that situation. You don't want your Furion dying, but getting some extra experience here on the supports could pay off big time. What is this, man?
Yeah, this is a
that's illegal
from Skeeter. If you're going to run all these heroes to bottom, all these heroes to mid, well, guess what? I'm going to take your Wisdom Shrine. That extra experience is going to be much needed as Lorinov continues his assault on the side lanes. Teleports in, gets a kill on Snaking, and very early on with the Helmadam and Treants, the safe lane tower will die. Nigma Galaxy, last time it was a 1930 Tier 1 tower, the first of the game that they managed to take here. It's 7.5 minutes. 12 minutes ahead of schedule. Is this what you were talking about, Avery, when you said,
yes,
you know, this is a team that I don't really care about the heroes, more so about how they're playing them?
I want to see the good moves. I want to see the combinations. I want to see the spells landing. The support's enabled. To me, that's what makes Nigma Galaxy scary, not necessarily some specific lineup. And this is where the Alc can get punished. Skeeter's just playing super well. I don't know what his read of that move was, but he dodged the gank and took their Wisdom Shrine and then TP'd and bailed on the tower, so he was not the one dying there. Very heads-up play, and it secured him a really nice start here despite all the pressure going into him very early. Don't know if I've ever seen Alchemist taking a Wisdom Shrine.
That is quite the
that is insane.
And if he does well enough, right, he can pull Amar back into the game very easily. Not just with the aggression that Alchemist is able to pull off, being a blink stunning hero potentially, but also giving away an axe to Necrophos later on to the game.
There's a lot of axe to pull in this game. That's some extra scale. Nigma, they're going to continue to hunt bottom. They have connections with the power shot and arrow down here.
Trying to set up an arrow, does manage to land.
Level 3 Starfall.
Yeah, they got it.
Plus the Wrath, yeah, you definitely have it on that.
But it is going to be a Reaper Scythe kill potentially. Wait, Amar's not level 6. Okay, they get it with the Stampede at least. Now he's level 6.
Still worth it though. You're just getting experience for the Bounty Hunter. Once more, GH is mega high level off of the extra experience mid. So you have some extra damage to play with here. Not a bad start for Nigma Galaxy. The Alec is quite farmed, but you did shut down the Necrophos, which I think was important. You had to pick one of these. And you're getting your supports online. This This 10 to 20 minute mark is where the game can be scary for Falcons. You have to limit the damage, just try and get through this period, get to the other side where you're going to start to farm up, take advantage of the Alex net worth advantage, and kind of just win fights off the back of Skeeter. That can be dangerous, though. When you look at the actual 5-on-5, who's going to deal damage to set up a Reaper site? Only the Alchemist. If he gets kited or dealt with.
Nice
quick kickoff.
Into arrow, snaking. He falls. And Omar's even still looking at a play mid at the exact same time.
He's low.
Mid tower ramping up. Maureen, he's going to reach in up a little bit here. Gets pulled back in, though, by the vacuum.
Look at the double shell.
And all he can do is double edge and hope that somebody can help him out. Unfortunately, Falcons are all split up. Nobody to help mid Maureen.
What a difference in this game versus game one. The pressure the Furion's been able to create on top of the extra roam, the towers. We're going to see 3 tier 1s dead. Almost 7 minutes before we saw 1 in the last game. To me, this is why I wanted that Furion. I think it just flows better for them. Or if you're going to play the safe lane Furion, Sumail plays it fine, but then it can't get cheesed out. You just can't have this hero get cheesed. So 3 tier 1s dead. Last hit to the Furion.
Move. This could be a double invis support duo setup. Here comes that arrow. Lands perfectly. Starstorm and the power shot. Sumail takes the last hit. The Wrath of Nature comes through and takes out the neutrals, leaving nothing behind for Amar.
This is getting scary for Falcons. You can bend, not break in this game, but you're being broken right now across the map. You have no response to the bounty hunter ganks, and he has the extra damage with the ion shells, with the Wrath, some long-range artillery connection between arrow and the power shot. These kills are just surprising Falcons. In some ways, I think the panel underestimated how these heroes are connecting.
Nigma Galaxy able to keep the momentum flowing. Got a 4,000 net worth lead over an Alchemist lineup. Now, this is an Alchemist that hasn't really started cruising yet.
But he's not gonna... This version of Alch is not like the old ones where you just get Radiance, you run in the fight, and you're a god, no one can touch you. You can die in this game. You probably need Radiance Blink BKB to really just chat up and 1v5 it. You will have a strong BKB timing. Wind Ranger does have a good matchup against you with full Mjolnir done. It can bring you down, so there's threats to Skeeter here. And he's sweating a little right now. He's getting harassed in the jungle. He's worried about where the threats are. You can't afford to die right now in this Alchemist. Now you're getting tracked. You're thinking, man, am I going to get TP'd on? Is there a smoke gank going into me? You have to keep the farm rate up. All of these little, like, look at the little time that's being wasted here. This is annoying for him.
Yeah, Davai is actually taking the camp right in front of him with the Helmet Dom creep with an ion shell on it.
Very efficient. To me, this has been the greatest strength of Bounty Hunter at this tournament. It's a hero that can really disrupt farming patterns, give you a lot of information advantage. It's not really even about what the hero is doing itself. It's just, it throws teams off their game. It reminds me of some of the patches where Nyx Assassin was really popular. It's like, he goes 0-8, but he makes the game very different.
Nice catch, but will it be enough? Not by a long shot. Only half HP for GH off that duo of Maureen and Snake King. It's a reveal of the Blink Dagger, and they didn't get anything for it.
They're going to have to smoke it up here. They do have Radiance timing on the Alex. They have Macro Pyre plus Hookshot to throw into a Centaur lead off.
They want to connect to the Wind Ranger, but Sumail's already shoved the wave into the tier 2, into Amar, and will retreat back to his own tower.
A tough smoke to land. Again, the Bounty Hunter is giving so much information right now.
Yeah, he's behind the tier 2 mid and saying, there's nobody around here, guys. They're doing something. Does Sumail still get caught by it, though? The smoke's going to break. Maureen spots him. Wind run. Can't get far enough away. Hit by the hook shot, leading to the ice path. Push him into. Oh, that's a beautiful cogs hit. That'll keep him inside the macro pyre. He's dead. Nigma Galaxy are going to try and get a punish here. The teleport in from Lornoff. No stuns available.
Nothing.
They all teleport away scot-free.
That was a weird response. They TP'd the Darkseer super late. Lornoff wasn't sure if he wanted to just man up there. Great cog bounce, though. That Wind Ranger survives if you don't stun him and slow him down in that macro a little longer. So well executed from Falcons. Not an easy smoke to land with a lack of vision on the map. Buys time for this Alchemist to push towards that blink where he can start to get more active. Still looking at how fat Davai is in this game. It's going to be a fast pipe. That makes it harder for Amar to come into these fights and clean up some easy Reaper kill. Yeah. This is bots first. To me, this signals does he even want the second Radiance in this game. Like, how greedy do they feel they can get with some of the map pressure that's been exerted?
That's very awkward, especially with the way the lanes are all pushed in. They lost all their tier 1 towers. Like, the map is kind of small. Like, how much are you actually going to be using this Boots of Travel?
He's effectively 0 net worth right now.
You
know, that's how you have to think about it. And then if he buys a second Radiance, your effective net worth maybe goes up by a couple thousand, but it's not a full value.
Nice double stun from Omar, leading to the arrow once again. And the track of gold comes in.
And he snipes the last hit on the Furion, so that's even more gold.
So he gets to be a part of track kill, gets the bounty for the kill. The other 2 supports pick up some track gold on top of that.
Quick Moonlight Shadow, try and snowball off this even a little more. You got to be careful running in here without the full team backup.
The Vi is giving them really good information, and Amar and GH, they're lining these up nicely, man.
This team is just completely different when the support duo is flowing. Just the whole game feels a lot smoother.
He's gonna have a poke at Skeeter. Nothing real serious coming of it, but just keeping him aware. Hey, we could pressure you too. Never know when that gank is gonna come up to the top lane.
It's so much space to work with right now.
Now, Skeeter does have his Blink Dagger, so Falcons will be able to return fire soon. But a Eul Scepter already done for GH. He doesn't even need the Bounty Hunter to set up his arrows anymore.
I think this is the most crucial decision of this game in some ways for Falcons is, do you try and risk the fight with just the Blink on the Alk? Or do you need him to have BKB as well? Because if you take the fight and you Blink the Alk and he dies, this game is going to crumble. And my gut read is he needs BKB to make that play.
Sure.
I don't think you can fight with this out because I don't think this Necrophos is doing anything. He's just a creep right now. So if I'm Skeeter, I'm sweating. Like, man, there's a lot of pressure on me in this one.
Yeah.
And 2, I think I just have to prioritize my game, except that Amar is going to be in core for a little longer and hope that BKB timing hits hard. Because it's going to have to hit hard right now.
Yeah, at the rate that Lorinoff is farming and keeping up with this Alchemist, not to mention Devi, who's even ahead of the Furion.
He's
not
gigantic.
Behind the Alch.
200 CS on the Darkseer, full pipe done.
Yeah, and he's going to Rod of Atos, so he wants some extra catch with the Gleipnir.
I
build up.
I don't know if they need it. I think the kills have been connecting, right? I think you just play to protect your other 2 cores. I'd be surprised if he commits for it. Could just be an Octarine build up here or something.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I think it's also a pretty good Shiva's game if you want to go Chasm Stone build up.
Yeah, most people who on Darkseer, they go Shiva's because they want the Chasm Stone. The extra armor is very nice.
Basically, I think you want to try and devalue the Alk BKB as much as possible. And for me, Atos is not going to do that. Because if you can kite the Alk BKB, I think the fight looks pretty straightforward right now.
But it's going to be effective for a long time against the Necro.
It will.
You're not considering, like, if your goal is not to shut down Alk, but to keep the Necro poor.
I think this Necro is going to be poor for a while in this one.
Here comes
this could
Night
be
Shadow gank setup.
Very interesting.
Gonna be caught by the Shackle. Very easy kill for Nigma Galaxy. Just like that, all of a sudden there are 5 heroes on top of the Alchemist.
And now you got to look for something else. Chain this kill. GH looking for the setup with the Euls. Should get it.
Euls cancels the TP. And his team, 2 cores sandwiching Snake King. Both racing to try and get this bounty.
We'll get him here eventually. They're also setting up bottom. Amar, he gets tracked, gets walled. Zeri on TP.
Exactly what you want to see. Nigma Galaxy punishing them on all 3 lanes. Amar tries to make a run for it with Stampede, but you can't outrun the Surge, that's for sure.
Look at the connections right now. So the thing is, you can overcommit on these connections because you have track gold, and you have the Furion, who he's a free committal. I think Lorinoff's TP was pretty awkward. It didn't even matter.
It is. I mean, you could also overcommit if you manage to get 3 different kills in 3 different lanes. Falcons aren't getting anything for this. Skeeter trying to bait out Marine in the mid lane, goes for the punish onto the Brana, and they do get that kill. So
okay, something for him.
It's been a minute since they've got a kill, but they finally get one. It was last time was Snake King killing Sumail in about 13 minutes.
It's got to be some kind of Skeeter legacy game right here. He needs to build up to it. He needs to basically play it perfect from here on out.
We've already had 1 carry legacy game today.
That's probably true. They'll have hard on Centaur soon. That helps a lot. It will be a second Radiance on Amar. That'll help his farm rate, especially if you can win a fight and then just clear the map with double Radiance. We can see this lead vanish for Nigma Galaxy in the blink of an eye. They just need to keep snowballing with this Bounty Hunter. Find pickoffs. Don't get too complacent with farming your side of the map. Abuse your advantage as much as possible right now.
Yeah, it's like easy for you to win fights and get pickoffs, but you do kind of have to be perfect about it. So close. Got the TP away from Malrine. They'll go for crit instead.
Do they see the Alk up here? With the swabs?
Crazy pickup. They could get him a second time.
He's gonna walk it.
Like it.
They see him now.
Yeah, they spot him off this ward, but it's kind of a bit too late.
Yeah, he has BKB too. This is Skeeter's time to get more involved in this game if the fights can be set up properly for him. It is 20 minutes as well, so he did hit it right with the Tormentor spawn.
I am interested to see with that Tormentor, like how much are they willing to stall their aggression to hit objectives, right? To hit Tormentor, to hit Roshan. It kind of feels like any minute that you're not hitting the Falcons' cores is kind of bad for them.
I think it's fine as long as it's not everybody. I don't want to see 5 heroes hit this Tormentor. 3, 4, perfectly fine. Gets done pretty fast here with the focus fire. And get a free shard here. Some extra invis for some heroes on the map. Could be spicy and set some of these extra kills up. You never know.
Yeah, especially with Falcons being behind. Just means the supports don't really have the most net worth, may not be able to, certainly not going to be able to buy a gem early on. And maybe low enough they can't afford all the sentries.
This is a nice timing for Falcons, though. That's that BKB for the Alk and the Heart for the Centaur. So their tank just went up. Their ability to stay in the fight just went up considerably.
Oh, a little sidestep there. Hookshot does not land on Amar.
And the smoke's coming through.
Comes.
They're committing the Alk into the play. Pivotal moment for Falcons in this game.
They really want to find the connection with one of these cores. With the Furion, that would be ideal.
They're being real patient
right now. Nigma Galaxy might smoke into them here. It's going to break for the Bounty Hunter. They do get dusted. Managed to stop the stomp there. Still in
Skeeter got arrow.
It's going to lead to a self-concoction explosion there. He's going to start the fight at half health.
Very awkward. And the back in on Malrine alongside the Shackles. Sumail doesn't give a damn about the return. He'll just keep it going. Pumping the damage into the mid laner of Falcons, who cannot get away, can't stop the damage, can't get the blink.
Skeeter actually went for the kill on Lornoff, but a BKB from Lornoff. Great reaction from him. A Reaper sight will put down the Bounty Hunter, but they're still in trouble.
The Alchemist
being chased after. Device trying to back away from the Necrophos. Amar using his extra regen to his advantage, but he's still kind of squishy. Hit by the Yules, hit by a power shot. Look at it, down he goes pretty fast. They go back for Lornoff though. They're hitting with those. Energy unstable concoction, trying to focus him down, but Lornoff, he just won't die. Grit, all they to try and get the kill, throws a blood grenade, but it won't be enough. Falcons get wiped.
That arrow was so devastating.
Oh my God.
I cannot imagine a worse scenario. All of your hopes are on this Alka's BKB. You run in the fight, you take an arrow to the knee, and you gotta sit there for 8 seconds with the chain stun on yourself. I literally cannot imagine a worse way for that fight to start for Falcon. And then you could just see the second guessing of, are we still supposed to commit? Are we supposed to get out? Are we going in again? It was so chaotic. That's never a team fight you're going to win when you're so indecisive like that based on how it started.
You imagine Malrine's perspective? He's like, guys, I got them to go on me. I'm a part Centaur. Like,
he's doing his job.
Dream. Where's my team?
He attracted so much attention. He even tanked the focus fire, which is pretty much what you want here if you're Falcons. You did get a Reaper kill, as much as you can hope for. It's on a bounty. It's not the biggest target, but you're not going to be able to Reaper the BKB Furion. The Wind Ranger's playing on the outskirts of the fight. Here you re-engage. This is just, it's not the ticket. Now you have to get out if you're Skeeter. You have to kite. You get your Reaper kill. Are you bailing on this fight, or are you sticking around at this point? And Amar's going in. Skeeter's going out. A crazy commit from Amar. Maybe he feels like there's just no way out of this fight anyway, so you just got to full send it.
Sure.
It's just
the fact that they go back in for the Lornoff kill, commit 2 heroes to try and get this, and fail to do so by just 100 damage.
Nigma Galaxy very happy with that teamfight win. That's going to break this game open. A lot of track gold on top of it. You win those team fights with Furion, you're feeling real good.
Now up to an 11,000 net worth lead. They do have a Furion, they do have a Bounty Hunter, so they do have some ways to generate gold. They're also against an Alchemist. An Alchemist who's fighting against a gold lead rather than having one. Not a comfortable position to be in.
And I think GH finished ads off of that. That's huge. He's going to start to increase his own farm rate and scale in this game. He's level 15 as well. Wow. GH is just a beast. I don't know how this guy is so good for so long. But
focus fire again, funneling. Are they intentionally funneling all of these kills to Lornoff?
They're leaving it for the Wrath to come through, and he's purposely getting the last hit, so it's extra assist / kill gold, I guess. Track gold for everybody else. They're playing towards their win condition. Get this Furion fat, let Wind Ranger assassinate somebody, and then Darkseer just keeps everybody alive. Bounty Hunter starts the fight. It's all coming together here. Falcons is just a little lost on the map. Unsure of how to deal with the Bounty Hunter pressure in terms of the information. Afraid to shove the waves. I think that is the biggest factor in this game too. They're a little tentative to get these lanes out deep. And it means they're getting forced to their side of the map more. The farm is overlapping. We're not seeing Amar recovering this game because he has nowhere to go with Bot's Radiance. You build Bot Radiance, and this tier 1 bottom is sitting there. I don't think he's been across the river in 10 minutes. And this is the intangible effects of the Bounty Hunter plus the Furion global threat really causing them issues here. The Galaxy starting to take this map over. There's a Daedalus for the Furion.
Yeah, nobody can challenge him.
You might just be able to force the Roshan right here with a quick focus fire play if you really feel confident. AC for the Alk is big.
Yeah.
And that is another big timing for Skeeter. But he has to do something at some point in terms of turning this game around and bringing his other 2 cores back in.
Well, it is very easy for them to get a chain stun combo, right? They've got Unstable Concoction, they've got Hookshot. Like, they've got a way to be able to start fights, keep the chain stun going for Macropire or Reaper side to come through. And
they do have
one of these cores.
They do have a guaranteed Reaper. There's no hard save in this game.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to say Amar should just buy a Blink so he Blink Reaper the dude. I've just never seen him do that. It's not his MO.
Yeah.
Maybe Shard on Centaur gives you a little extra sustained damage. They're looking for the play with the Alk timing. I do think Falcons they've understood the position, and they're playing to the best of their ability to take these fights. It's just tough to find an angle.
The worst thing that could happen for Falcons right now would be Amar being picked off in this bottom lane. He shows for a second there, immediately Tumbler Toy heading for the hills. And we'll have some time to think about the situation that we're in. Both teams are going to be sitting there. I mean, if you're Nigma Galaxy, you know 100% that Falcons are making a move somewhere, right? That they smoked up or did something. There's too many heroes off the map for too long.
You see where Lornoff is right now. He's reading this play going in bottom, and he sent Treants up north from his position. He also scanned there, I believe. So basically, you're looking at these Treants, and you can just look for the aura on the Treants.
Sure.
The Radiance is turned off right now for Skeeter. You're not going to see that, but he has AC. You will see that. You're looking for any sort of body blocks, any sort of information. These little things make a big difference in dodging some of these plays, but Nigma Galaxy absolutely have a read of what's going on right now. As long as you don't lose your Furion on the backside of the map, you're pretty happy with the outcome.
A Deathless Divine, the only one on Nigma Galaxy.
Didn't have that on your bingo card, huh? He's a different player now.
Yeah. I mean, this is a player that we have watched mature and grow a lot over the last 2 years. I mean, I almost feel like he's pulled a 180 where he was one of the most volatile offlaners, where he reminded me so much of Saberlight and his aggression in the off lane, where he could just roll over some lanes, or, you know, he could give up a lot of unnecessary kills. And now it feels like he's not that at all. It feels like he's way more disciplined.
I think he still has some games that are rough for him, but they're not all his own doing. You have 2 greedy core players you got to make some space for, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this guy just brings the chill vibes. Look at him. He's in the zone right
Doing
now.
a little
He's enjoying
dance, making sure he's keeping the energy up.
I think he just loves Dota. Like, that's the thing that sticks out to me. Sure. Maybe about this Nigma team in general. I think they just love playing the game.
I mean, anybody who's grinded through as many regions as Devi has, right? He's played in Europe. Yeah. He's played in North America. Sure. The biggest grind of all. Played through South America. Now he's back in Europe again.
There's a couple players in this series that escaped NHL. That's for sure.
Indeed. I thought it was pretty funny talking to Devi recently and asking him, you know, what region did he enjoy pubs the most in outside of Europe, obviously. And he actually enjoyed the NA Gula. You know, he thought it was a good time. You know, like there was personality and characters.
Oh, there's personality.
Divine Llama was
there
one
are
of the
characters.
personalities and one of the characters. That's
I'm
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he enjoyed his brief tour because he knew he was getting out of there soon. That's for sure. Sounds like a little trauma speaking, but I'm not going to speak on his behalf.
And he was doing it from Europe, so he was there in Belgium.
That's even rougher.
Just playing all through the night because he was playing on an NA team. He would play in the NA servers.
Playing
That's
on
some
NA on ping.
I know.
I don't know if I'd wish that on my worst enemy.
Can you imagine doing that? Like
that's training. Hey, that's training.
Everybody else in the world is doing the exact opposite, and there's Divide. No, I'm not going to play on the European servers. I'm going to play in the North American servers.
Perseverance. I'm not talking about the item. I mean, that's a man who wants to grind, get better, take every opportunity he can, stick it out.
Sees his opportunity with Nigma Galaxy, his best opportunity in a while since his time in Heroic, and a lineup that was not really working for them until the pickup of Lorinoff. And another situation where a team felt like they transformed, right? We talk about Divide changing as a player, but Nigma Galaxy, I mean, come on. The fans were just, I think there was no esports fans in the world that were just more hurt all the time by their team. It was so promising, get a 10,000 net worth lead, a 15,000 net worth lead, and then they go high ground. How many times did that Nigma Galaxy roster throw on the high ground?
And they're not doing it now.
It doesn't happen anymore. Ever since Lorinoff joined, it really feels like it's changed a lot.
The high ground master, apparently.
Apparently.
Fix their problems.
The high ground whisperer. He knows what to do. He knows to chill out, farm some creeps.
He's very good at playing towards his scale and win condition. Yeah. He rarely throws that position. And I think that is something they needed, and it's slotted in real nice here. Not getting a whole new PC. Very nice.
What was the longest pause you had to go through during TI? Do you have any memorable situations?
No.
Because I feel like I have to imagine it's pretty stressful to be in like one of the biggest games of your career and just have the entire thing.
You gotta stay calm.
Ground to a hole.
You gotta stay calm, cool, connected. You can't lose the energy. You gotta maintain the mentality.
Okay, so the last thing you said you think you would do is like, say, put your chair back.
Oh, that's fine.
In a resting position.
As long as you're chill, you're vibing. You know?
It's just like a year ago. They're laying together on the TI stage.
Yeah, they're just boys hanging out in a pod,
Yeah.
As long as people don't start to despair, you're happy in the pod. That's all that matters.
The despair in the pod.
As long as no one's freaking out, going crazy.
Did you ever have anybody freak out?
There was a couple times where someone really, bathroom emergency. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Why did we take
like?
care
You don't
of
think it was a real bathroom emergency?
No.
You think they were just like overthinking it?
No, it was real. But it's like you gotta prep yourself for a series, right?
Sure. Okay.
You don't want to come out of that booth and some guy was like, "Oh, I could think about that entire game." I think also a lot of these teams, if you look at the history of Dota, the teams that are playing now, particularly these guys in the Falcons booth, I look at Snaking and I think what Tundra developed in their TI win that carried over a lot of their teams in terms of the communication. I think OG kind of solidified how much comms matter and did it in their way.
Yep.
And then Tundra said, we're going to take that idea and make it professional. Not that OG weren't professional, but like as concise as possible, as clear as possible, get rid of all the chatter.
Right.
They're not chat wheeling. They're not doing that nonsense. It's just straight comms. And I think that's carried over into this Falcon squad, talking to AUI, Snaking, Crit. Their comms are very discreet. No messing around, no bad information unless they're just trash talking and the game's over.
Sure.
And I think you see that in a lot of modern teams now catching up to that, streamlining the communication as much as possible. Back in the day, people were just shouting random stuff, man. You're going in the middle of a fight, some guy's yelling, drop your stick, and you're like, what is going on? It's crazy. Like, it's just, you think back on this, and it's silly how far behind you were. But that's the progression of a competitive landscape is things are always progressing, whether you realize it or not. And you better work hard and hope that you are on the cutting edge of that and you're not falling behind.
Who are the biggest yappers of all time, Dota history? Because I'm already thinking, imagine a team with these two players. Ready? Eternal Envy and Nightfall.
I knew you were going to say those two. I knew you were going to say those two.
Can you imagine, like,
it wouldn't be, no, it wouldn't
the
function.
brain jam that you're
It wouldn't
experiencing
function.
being on this team?
I was on a team with one of them, and it barely functioned. So, like, it's no way it's functioning with both of those. It's just not happening, brother. I don't know what to tell you.
What are some other yappers?
I think a lot of captains were, like, the classic 5-position captains were the biggest talkers back in the day. Outside of you were a tempo controller, like an S4 archetype,
yeah,
those were also the big communication players. Honestly, Snaking was a yapper back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really was. And I think he's still a communicative player, but maybe he's taken a step back. I think he talks less as a support than he did as an offlaner.
Yeah, as an offlaner, he was crazy at.
And I think offlaners in general tend to talk more. You
have to. You're very often you're the archetype for starting the fight.
Sure.
Right? You have to be able to tell your team you're starting that fight.
Well, I also think their perception of themselves is they're just the bad boy on the squad. I'm like the renegade offlaner, you know. I'm the real carry in this game. Someone's got to do the heavy lift.
No lane, no net worth, just a blink dagger and balls. Let's go.
That's how it was. I think back to, players like Mind Control was a big shot caller. ATF is obviously a huge shot caller.
Yeah.
It's just so many classes. Seb, the archetype captain from the offlane, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you said something very interesting recently. You said that maybe not every, but most of the TI winning squads, you felt like had an offlaner that was ahead of their time.
I stand by that statement, yes.
And
maybe not ahead.
Back through it.
Maybe not ahead, but in their prime and the offlaner of the year or top 2 of the year.
Yeah. And the first one that comes to mind, we go back through history, right? Alliance Bulldog, right? He changed
trendsetter
the offlane
for sure.
Entirely, right? Going how long? Can I take a nap? All right, Molly is really not concerned at all with the state of the game, apparently.
He's chilling.
Because it's not going well for Falcons, but maybe he takes a nap and it's all changed. But then going on from there, right? You pointed out Universe for EG. He was obviously one of the best in the world to ever do that.
Yeah.
Then next up was Wings, right? He went into TI6 as the best offlaner in the world.
Probably the most versatile up to that point, I would say.
Maybe you think Mind Control was that ahead of the game for TI7?
Yes. I think he really took playing edges of the map to the next level and specializing on a group of heroes that enabled the team. I also think he was one of the first players that could kind of play sacrificial or scaling style and make both work really well. He was a very unique player, for sure, at the time.
I think TI8 Seb, though, I don't think you would say he was, he individually was ahead, would you?
Yes, ideas-wise. I think OG was...
specifically, okay, so my understanding would be as a team, they were very ahead.
But I think a lot of those ideas came from him and No-Tail.
Okay.
Brainstorming it up, the draft ideas, the ideas on comms, draft, strategizing. I also think Seb had very good ideas for his own role in particular. I think he was ahead in itemization. I go back to some of the games. I go back to the TI game where he built pipe on Legion Commander.
Yeah.
Who was doing that back then? Nobody was doing it. And so I think in that sense, yeah, absolutely. His ideas about connecting heroes too, the fast-paced nature of a game, how fast you can take a game over. I'm not saying it was all him, but it flowed through him to a large degree.
Yeah. TI-10 collapse. All right, there's a trend going on here, but surely some of this is revisionist history, right?
Yeah,
they're the best offlaner in the world because they won TI.
Yeah, for sure. But part of that is I think if you're trying to build a championship team, if you're trying to win this tournament, and you as a team don't feel your offlaner is in that category, you can sense it real quickly. You have to have that confidence, that faith. And as an offlaner, you have to believe in yourself to that degree because the role is very nebulous. It's very easy to lose faith in what you're doing. You get lost in the sauce, lost in the meta. Am I a jump stun? Am I a lane shove hero? Am I a scaling offlaner, right? You can do anything and make it work, but you have to have the identity. You have to have the clear idea. I think that's what worked for ATF last year at TI-14, right? This guy has such a clear identity of when I tell you what style ATF is playing in offlane, everybody in the world instantly knows this guy's farming, he's scaling, he's anti-carry, he's lane dominant. Like, you know exactly what his game looks like.
Dame goes for 33. Incredibly stylized off-lane play.
Yeah, and that's the point in Dota history we're at, is you have to be that good. You have to be that confident in the way you're playing the game and force people to respond to you. You can't be some guy who's like, yeah, I'm going to try and do what Collapse does, you know. It's not going to work out for you.
You have to mold the game to your style.
That's right.
Not the other way around.
So I think those are the guys who go on to win this event. It's not easy to find, and sometimes you don't even know you're that guy until you win. I think that's true of a lot of champions sometimes, but some guys definitely know before.
And that's why you have had so much faith in Team Vision this year, right? Because
I'm a big Notice fan.
I think Notice is the new best offlaner in the world.
He has potential. He has potential.
He will get there.
I think he's the breakout offlaner this season, and I think that has catapulted them and Yandex early on to like some great results. So yeah, you always got to look for that. It's a super pivotal role at these big lands events.
That's a rough one. Half the hero damage of Skeeter to Samael. A little different there with the Alchemist, Wind Ranger, but obviously that last team fight, that was a pivotal moment for the Alchemist to be able to shine. And, well, he did the exact opposite of shine.
But I will say the biggest thing, it looks like we're getting close to coming back here. When you come back in from this pause, one, you need to reset the energy to where it was. Okay. You don't want to be too lax. You also don't want to, you're hyperventilating or whatever. Obviously, that's less likely.
All right,
got to bring that energy
I'm kind of freaking out right now.
No, don't be freaking out.
I'm a hyperventilator.
No, you got to calm down.
You talk me through it. You talk me through it.
You got to calm down.
Give me an example of what like you as a captain are stepping in and telling your team.
If I feel like the energy is too low, which is usually the case coming out of a pause, you need to amp people back up a little. You need to say, hey, let's get focused. Wake up. Maybe you can yell at people a little. Snap at them. Hey, look at me. Let's get back in this game. Remind us what we're doing. We're making this move. We think they're here. We think they're going for this timing play. Let's regroup. I don't think it's ever bad after a pause to just kind of reset, have nothing happen for 30 seconds, and then go for something.
Okay.
Because a lot of times something bad can happen to you because your mentality changes a little bit. Your feel for the game shifts a little bit, right? And you just want to reset that.
The same for both teams, though? Their
it
feel of the
is.
game is off. So why don't you just,
But the thing is, Falcons are behind here.
Ah, okay.
Right? They have less to lose.
Not worth it.
Yes, they have less to lose. So Falcons, they might just try and
you already see Lordoff is drawing the circles. He's saying, all right, we know where they're at.
Yes, exactly. And that's what you want to do if you're Nigma. And if you're Falcons, like, you need to remember where you are in this game. Yeah, you're behind, but you have this out timing. You're trying to use it right now. You don't want to lose sight of that. You have an opportunity to try and turn this game off of Skeeter's strength as we go back into it.
Falcons with the smoke expired. They are going to back out of their aggression. They have a ward that they can go back to here.
It's a nice ward.
But for now, they're just going to back away, farm up. Mars already out of here, already farming up the top corner of the map. Nigma Galaxy are going to stay a little bit more grouped up until they see some more heroes. They're beginning to show. They're going to show on mid.
Totally fine.
Somebody at top lane at some point.
And then you make your move. You either kick some heroes out. You can force Roshan here. I think that's the riskier play. I don't think it's necessary either. You do have BKBs on your 2 cores, however, so I think it is an option if you feel that Falcons have moved away to top half of the map or just giving you too much freedom. These are what you're looking for, though. You always have this bottom lane pressure. Either it's Dominator, Creep, or Furion. Pushing this lane all the way to Falcons tier 3. That is your informational advantage on the map right now, and you should be able to make a play off of that. Outpost also increases the likelihood you just man up for Roche on this side of the map right now. Otherwise, it's heading top at 2 minutes, and it's going to go into their vision, which I think feels a little awkward. You got to make a call quick here if you're Nigma Galaxy. You going to make this objective play, or are you going to try and hunt heroes on the map?
The Bounty Hunter's going to go for the hunt. Moonlight, Shadow.
I might find him here.
Oh, he's going to get... They're going to catch him right as he went for the TP. Nice pickoff. Neutrals will do what they can to interfere, but
died pretty fast.
Now straight to Roshan, right? You're right outside the pit. You just killed the mid laner.
Yes, 100%.
GH is going to get even more catch. Like Devi with the Radavato's Gleipnir build, extra catch. Now we've got a Blink Dagger build up for the Mirana. I mean, these guys are going to be moving fast around the map.
I like the randomization. The Gleipnir is the only one I'm like unsure of, but it makes sense in terms of we just want to get some extra stuns and catch and make this lineup a lot easier to function in terms of catching heroes and playing the fight. There is the stick that got dropped off the courier. We'll free up some slots here. Very important. And they'll give it to Lornoff. Still has slots to utilize it well.
I like Nigma Galaxy like smoke up during that Roshan. They got their position for the team fight. They were really prepared just in case Falcons did contest them.
You should be. Like, you should never assume that Falcons are just sleeping on the job. They've absolutely contested objectives 4v5, 3v5 if they feel their other two cores are strong enough. This is probably an unlikely game for that to happen, but you do not want to give them some crazy opportunity. There's the Manta for the Necro. It does make him a lot stronger in the fight. It's just...
Is it going to be back-to-back deaths for Maureen?
I think it might be.
They can keep him here long enough. They got him with the vacuum, pull him back into the shackle.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. That's right outside the base, too, and they have a ward on that high ground. Sees a little bit. Yeah, you just swing here. Still 4 minutes on the Aegis. What are you afraid of? This is not a great high ground defense lineup for Falcons. The fight kind of looks the same if you're fighting here as if you're fighting anywhere.
Sure. Maybe the spacing is a little bit easier for Amar to get there for the Reaper's Scythe. That's kind of
yeah. That's about it. And because you have Aegis, that play is not easy.
All you have to do is just plant Lornoff in the front. Let him, the master of high grounds, hit that high ground.
He's going to force everybody back.
Yeah, he's going to make the call. All right, we got enough heroes back. We're going to clear out their triangle as we retreat. Leave them no camps to be able to farm.
Fire butterfly done. That's tough for Skeeter to go into. I mean, this is the target you want to jump and just try and burst down with the Basher build up. Evasion makes it really difficult.
Yeah, you can't hit the Wind Ranger with a Wind Run. Now it feels like you can't hit the Furion with the Butterfly.
Who are you hitting in this game? Find a Bounty Hunter and Reaper him again? It's not going to win you the long haul.
Maybe hit some more neutrals until you maybe hit the enter button and GG.
That was a nasty shackling.
Catch and more gold for Lornoff. Dude, I don't know how he keeps on getting these Wrath of Natures. Like, even when it looks like Nigma Galaxy is not trying to give it to him, he still snipes it every time.
He is fat. Very fat. His net worth counts more for the Alchemist.
42 damage. That's how he got the last hit.
Hey, give it to the man. He knows what he's doing out here.
He's about to complete a Hurricane Pike after that butterfly was complete. It's just 1 minute an item, another minute another item. Nice Vlad's pickup. That's a cool idea. Just get more team fight.
Are Falcons really going to try and jump the Furion up here? This is
try. They're going to go for it.
Wild.
It seems like not a great idea. They're still going to follow it up. Drop the wall just in case. Lornoff's going to battle this out. He's not worried about this at all. He's got an extra life, and then he's got a BKB he can slot in. So that Stampede from Falcons is going to have to be used to just retreat. And Nigma Galaxy, they stick around and take this tier 2. Lornoff's coming back for it. Why not?
12 Aegis for 2 minutes here. Should not be afraid of forcing objectives.
And you should keep this pace going for a high ground hit with the last minute left on Aegis, right?
I don't think you have to force high ground with this Aegis. You don't have a banner or anything. Makes it a little more difficult. I think you'd rather just choke the map and look for kills. That's what your lineup's designed to do.
GH. Got the Yule set up into the arrow. Crit. He's going to be stopped so he can't get the hook shot in.
Damn it.
The arrow. Oh, man, that Aghanim Scepter combined with the Wrath of Nature. Now maybe they get snaking as well. Divine fishing for the vacuum. Hits him with the Gleipnir. Now pulls him back into play. And Lornoff delivers the damage. It's just too easy. A 1, 2, 3, and a lane of barracks for Nigma Galaxy in a game 2.
GH destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it in combination with Omar. They found so many just clutch little 2-man pickoffs with a Furion connection. Set this game up beautifully. And this is going to be multiple lanes. You can buy the Necrophos here. I just don't know what he's doing in the fight. This has been a very impotent game for Omar. We're probably going to see him on a different hero in this game 3.
Yeah, impotent
tried to make it work.
Falcons all around, right? I mean, it feels like nobody has really done anything. They've got 5 kills.
First threat Megas. And the Centaur got caught on the TPGH again.
He just keeps racking them up. He'll keep tracing him. Maureen Would have to do some crazy juke in order to get a
three-man wall mid.
PH is just going to keep following them, and yeah, they're actually going to fight this up a little split off because Sumail left. Is it possible for them to win this mid fight? Because Malrine is certainly going to be dying up here in the corner. They can at least get one kill. The bounty hunter is going to be going down. Malrine is finally going to fall with a Sprout. They chased after Devi.
Might be able to get him here.
It's taking a long time. Here comes Amar, but he's got the Reaper sight, but he doesn't have the mobility. Oh, and let Devi come back in. Devi, you don't want this. You don't want this at all. The Reaper sight trying to get him right now, but now Lornoff is going to join the team. The Reaper sight, they finally goes through and it gets the kill.
I get Skeeter.
Going to be in trouble. It'll be well worth it if the hits. Galaxy the high ground. He gets the hit.
Of course, Lornoff don't miss. No way he's going to miss up that high ground.
Almost level 25 and ready to rock. A high ground hit. GH is going to set up the kill on Amar. Perhaps the arrow does land. Look at the Starstorm damage raining in. They finish him off. Does manage to use the shard there to get some distance, but Lornoff put the damage on him. Amar cuts to the trees. Very swift. Gets back to the fountain. But you can retreat. Your buildings cannot. Lornoff, they'll get the tier 3 before they back away. They'll respect the fact that Falcons, they could still fight this potentially. There's no reason to do this without Devi.
Don't know the Alec buyback status. He didn't have it there. You just have to assume because he's an Alec. A little worried about getting turned around on.
They got the Wisdom Shrine for it, Lornoff, so that is level 25 at 35 minutes. He's got the upgraded trance. It's all but guaranteed they're going to get Megas at this point.
It's a lot of map pressure to deal with. Can maybe get 1 or 2 more items here to try and stem the bleeding, turn the tide of your Falcons. And you have to land a big Reaper kill. I think you have to be able to Reaper kill the Wind Ranger or the Furion at some point to win the overall fight. Interesting little creep trap here.
The neutrals in the tree. Okay.
Why not? Think about what you've done.
Like that one has the high ground though.
Easy to look out.
All right, well, Nigma Galaxy, I mean, you got stalled out by Falcons in game 1 where they played for Roshan. There's no reason why you can't return the favor to them. Their 24,000 net worth lead. You can wait a little bit for Aegis to collect that extra life before you get Megas.
Even have Wind Waker completed on GH. Also level 20, so the Starstorm damage just increased, and he has a save for the Reaper.
Omar's got a save for himself with an Aeon Disc. So when he's scouting out these heroes, Falcons can't even really set up a trap and punish them too easily.
No, fight's just becoming more and more difficult.
Anything Falcons are picking up that...
They have Nullifier on the Alec.
Okay, so...
That is something that allows you to potentially just all in that first target off the chain stun. Even through the Wind Waker and some of these defensive mechanisms. I do think it's the correct purchase here from Skeeter. It's just going to be difficult to connect everything on the target you want. Again, you have to find the Wind Ranger or the Furion at some point to take some damage out of the fight. Wind Ranger might just kill Skeeter straight up. Sumail has a full Hydra's Breath.
Yeah, he's doing the percentage-based damage that makes it... How much do you think this item has changed the game when it comes to these tanky lineups that are so meta?
It's very efficient. We just don't see it as much anymore. It's extremely expensive to build up. It's a great late game item. I also feel like a lot of times your 6 slots, you just rather have something else there. Like you'd rather have an MKB or a Satanic plus Daedalus or something of this nature. Not the preferred item for a lot of players in the final 6 slots, but there are games where it does look very good on paper. Okay. Yeah, 600 gold for 5 minutes on Alec. That is rough.
Yeah, it's really bad.
That is rough.
Do you think that Hydra's Breath is like a hard counter to like this Centaur hard? Or do you feel like... I sometimes feel like it's not actually... Like it's good, but it's not a full counter.
No. I think oftentimes you're better off with just Satanic plus MKB, Satanic plus Daedalus. Whichever you think is better. Higher single target burst damage. The Hydra's going to do more over the long run of the fight. It can be nasty if you're hitting multiple heroes. And here's the last desperation smoke from Falcons.
Push out, drop wards, do what you can.
There's the bounty.
Get the initiation, but Amar's going to walk straight into them. What are you going to do about it? I've got an Aeon Disc, 4 steps away. Meanwhile, Malrine ripped apart. Man, Sumail did some work on him. Skeeter's trying to do what he can with the Abyssal Blade. The fall of evasion. Too much damage, too much evasion. The Wind Waker, but there's the Wind Waker save. And that's legit. Falcons, I don't think they have anything left in the tank. Maybe you can get some ale, but Lornoff is just going to town. You dealt with one of the cores. What about the other one? What about the supports who are super farmed? What about the offlaner? They'll come through and chase you down.
And what about your base? The reason Maureen's seeping out there is the super level treants just killed your Megas.
Oh, no.
That fight was doomed before it started.
Well, here comes Megas, Falcons. In it for the long haul now with 4 minutes left on the Aegis.
They just have answers for everything in the team fight. And this Alec absolutely needed MKB. He had no shot of getting through the Wind Ranger or the Fury on there.
Just one-man stomp. One second help Dom. Low shot. In a position to get the Hogs pushback, but they're going to be fighting without Reaper's Sight, so no early fast kill, and tough to deal with Lornoff. He's got a Satanic, he's got an Aegis, he's got a ton of damage. He kills Shakiro on the retreat, think he's not getting out of here, nor is Amar. He can pop the Ghost Shroud, but they've got time on Nigma Galaxy. Yules to stop Maureen, straight into the arrow. They finish him off, 3 dead. Falcons, nothing left but the tier 4s and a throne. They're going to fall shortly.
Lornoff, he's thinking about going for some fountain diving at this point.
Yeah, why not? They're willing to fountain farm you. Turn it right back around to Sprout into a shackle. Easily set up. There's little 1 or 2 man combos here they've got.
That's over.
Skeeter going for the kill, but they're going to call GG before Skeeter is even dead, and we will see a game 3. 2 extremely one-sided games between these two teams. What is a game 3 going to look like here?
I'm very hyped this is going to a game 3. I think this game 3 could absolutely be a barn burner here.
Why is that? Like, since we had 2 one-sided games, do you think Nigma Galaxy kind of figured some things out? Falcons will even it up in this draft going into game 3?
I think there's a lot of small things that work for Nigma in this game in terms of the pickoff, the tempo they have off the lanes, the way they want to play with Furion. But ultimately, I'm going to be straightforward about it. I think you put Lornoff in mid lane, this guy's going to cook. And it's a way different game the second time around because he can control the pace, control the tempo, give him the win condition.
Nigma Galaxy have found the winning solution. Maybe it's not Heroes. Maybe it's just Lornoff.
Lornoff has provided for so many teams throughout this year. It's definitely something we have to look towards. He was finally able to have a showing in mid lane on the main stage here, to have fun, to have a great showing at that as well here. It's just one of those things at the tempo of Nigma Galaxy, whilst we might have been questioning their draft a little bit, Quinn, there were believers out there in FE about how it wasn't so bleak for Nigma Galaxy's lineup.
Yeah, I'll sign my apology. I was not familiar with their game, Nigma Galaxy. Sorry, Lornoff. I've shipped it. It's in the mail. You'll receive it soon.
I mean, I just think it's so funny when Nature's Prophet gets the ball rolling in that early game, because it stops feeling like you played Dota at some point. At some point, it's just, what did it even do? Lornoff really did wake up in this game too. He didn't want any of what happened in that game 1. Because there is no threat against the Nature's Prophet like the Husker from that game 1, he had free reign of that early game. He TP'd bottom, got a kill. He got dove in that mid lane, got 2 kills. TP'd top, killed the Alchemist. And because of that, his team were able to snowball from the side lanes too, and that bled into the mid lane.
And I feel like big credit to the supports this game, because they don't have an easy game to play. Like, I think neither Bounty Hunter nor Mirana really have like that nice setup for them. I mean, Bounty has the Dark Sphere that he can play through, but especially the Mirana, like, he landed a lot of arrows on like Bounty Hunter in the stuns, and I'm sure you guys at home, like, there's no way you guys could have done that. Like, this is GH, like, truly being an amazing player.
If you think about it, that stun, it's not a full stun. It's this micro stun that he's able to time the arrow in the perfect direction. Like, the supports for sure. It's so easy to sit here and be like a Nature's Prophet that's very global. Great, it joined team fights. It was able to farm. We still want to give it its flowers, especially that showing on Lornoff. But Amar had only played 3 heroes when it came to a position 4 throughout that group stage, that there was that question mark of, okay, well, he's probably just going to go back to it. We don't really need to target it, but there isn't going to be anything new that comes out. And he rocks up. They're 1 game down in a best of 3, this upper bracket, and he goes, I'm pulling out the Bounty Hunter. It's been the flavor of the day, and I'm going to show you that it's something I'm incredibly comfortable and confident of.
Yeah, it looked really good against Falcons. And I mean, it's looked, like you said, it looked good all day. The hero just seems to be very powerful. For whatever reason, it's just good against the meta. Sometimes heroes just pop up like this, and you have to just respect them before you understand them. Like, they may not fully get why it's so powerful, but you can feel that we kind of got ransacked this game, and it felt really hard. And maybe we just need to get rid of this guy because we don't know how to counter him yet. He's too new to the meta.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we as a panel definitely underestimate whatever Nigma's draft was. I didn't think it was going to play out this way.
Yeah,
because you don't win a game like this unless your draft is good. So whatever they saw, we didn't see, and that's props to them.
Yeah, as that game unfolded, I think the Bounty Hunter played out really beautifully, and I would attribute that to because the rotations from Nature's Prophet in the early game were so successful. What ended up happening was that all of the tier 1s were taken, I think, in under 12 minutes. There was no tier 1 bottom, no tier 1 mid, and no tier 1 top. And the reason why that's an issue is if you look at Falcons draft, Necrophos on a side lane and Alchemist on a side lane, they need their towers because they need access to camps. They need to be able to farm. And if their towers are run early, then a bounty hunter who's Iron Shelf is walking into your camps and taking them away from you. That's what losing your towers takes away from you, and that's why the bounty hunter looked amazing.
I also remember something that we used to think on they played for a very long time is that Nature's Prophet is just fundamentally good against Falcons because Falcons likes to play the split map. They like to be like a little bit all over the place, and Prophet essentially just whatever move you do that you would normally only want to bring 2 heroes to, you just get a +1 for free, either through the ult or through him also teleporting and showing up.
And that was something that you guys said was so detrimental for the side of Nigma Galaxy in game 1 is they didn't have that, right? Because of how rough the laning phase went for the Nature's Prophet, it felt like he was playing catch up this whole time. This time around, he gets a much better lane for himself. The side lanes are going stronger as well, so a mid Nature's Prophet feels like it is a stronger avenue for Nigma Galaxy to play through, but they're punishing exactly what you guys said Falcons love to do, and that's to play in every lane to push out as much as possible, and now it's okay, we actually don't have a map, and we also can't push out waves without feeling like someone's sitting right on top of us and is going to be able to shut us down quickly.
Yeah, the punish is absolutely the right word. And I think you look at this fight, man, Lornov has an incredible BKB reaction to this Alchemist stun in a little bit. You can see there's some poking going on, and the Alch is charging up, and he goes on this Necrophos before too long, and Lornov is just... Man, it's crazy how slept on this guy was in a lot of ways throughout the entire year. And he joins this team and he just looks like one of the best mids in the world. Look at this BKB.
That's crazy, pal.
Like, it's not that long. Like, that is very quick. And it turns this whole fight. Now Alchemist runs away, wastes his whole BKB duration, has no HP. Like, it's the little plays like that that show Nigma's not just here because of some strategical thing, because they're running at people, whatever. Like, they are in zone and playing really well. GH is like 9-1 and 17 at the end of this game. Omar also has only 4 deaths. Like, it's super clean across the board with a lot of individually good performances. I think this fight shows, like, they're not winning off some cheese. Like, I don't know. I honestly, coming into this, I doubted them like crazy. They were like the team I thought of the least going into this, and they are proving me wrong, genuinely. I think that game was very impressive. And not only do you not win with a good draft or like that, but you also don't win a game like that without playing really well.
Yeah. That fight brings so many questions for me. Yes, that massive props for the side of Nigma Galaxy, but also the way that Falcons initiated in it, because I'm seeing them know that they're not necessarily at a numbers advantage, yet Malrine is still engaging when their supports are making their way around it. When the Alk doesn't feel like he's ready to jump in at the same time Malrine does. And I'm looking at this and I'm wondering what was the misplay, if there was one, or if this is truly chalked up to Nigma Galaxy made it hard for Falcons to want to commit in that fight.
And I think if you're running mid-Centaur, that's kind of how you have to play. You have to go in early, soak up damage, tank spells, and he did all of those things, but they were in a position where they were so behind in net worth that they couldn't make the magic that they usually do happen. And watching that team fight play out, it begs the question of, was the Alchemist the right call? You already have a Blink stun hero in the Centaur, and what you lacked is damage. Is Alchemist the hero that's going to provide you a damage? Why do you need 2 Blink stun heroes? Potentially, they thought their lanes would go better, and the game wouldn't look like that, but if the lanes fall apart, then their draft is redundant. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big... Like, while that is true, and I think there is a redundancy there, I put more fault on the Centaur than I do the Alchemist. I feel like a big reason why Lornov is able to make so many moves and Falcons can't do anything is Centaur as a mid-hero does not do anything until he has Helm Blink. That's like, I don't know, 6,000 gold or something with all the small items. And Necrophos is never really going to TP react. So now you're in a situation where 2 guys are just sitting there and Nature's Prophet is everywhere. So every fight is a 4v2 or a 4v1. How can Falcons fight back? And to me, the Centaur mid, if he does not win his lane, not just draw, not just do okay, but win, is just completely useless because he stands around, presses one R button once every 2 minutes while his team gets massacred. It looked terrible.
It was not the showing that we expected from Falcons, considering how strong that game number 1 was for them. But these teams have been preparing for this matchup for a couple of days now. And it wasn't just preparation that was on the cards for them, but it was also expressing and sharing with us how they're feeling coming into the main stage into a top 8 for TI.
The international for Team Falcons, when we arrived here in Shanghai, there was a typhoon and our flights got canceled. We only came like a day and a half before the tournament officially started, so jet lag was really bad. And it was a tough start, and then suddenly we were facing LGD first round with a stand-in. We ended up winning that series, but then we kind of lost the next 2 series.
We understood we missing just like quite a bit to get to be at the top at least of the tournament. So we just kind of step up and had a talk together so we could actually fix these things.
I always believed in our team that we could always come back and learn from our mistakes and get better in the group stage. And that's exactly what happened last year at TI, and we ended up winning.
I'm happy that we qualify. I don't care about which way, 4-0 like any others. We qualified and that's it. We're still in the upper bracket. And I'm just happy about it.
Our next match against Nigma Galaxy is a bit of a old rivalry.
I'm just feeling happy that I'm gonna face them. I'm gonna help Omar to actually beat them.
I think it'll be a fun and competitive series, so we'll see how it goes.
Some games we're having a good lead, but we just don't know how to close the game.
It's just classic Falcons, where we always somehow end up fumbling the opening series. We always drop the first game, and then we start slowly ramping up, and we're getting better and better for the playoffs.
The TI is going to be very important for me because it's going to be first time my parents coming with my wife.
I just hope that I'll be able to play a couple more series for my family who's coming for the first time to see me play at the international, and that's quite meaningful.
I would say TI means everything for me as a professional player.
The last time I was here in Shanghai was in 2019, where OG ended up upholding the trophy for the second time in a row, and that's really set very deep memory in my heart because they were the first team to win it back-to-back, and now I also have the chance to do it as well. So this is something that I really want to accomplish and do, and if I were to do it, that would be like a dream come true.
The previous TI that we won, and just when we qualified to play off, and there was opening ceremonial, I was my tear was coming from my eyes because that's what I was playing for it, and I just wanted to be there because if I'm gonna see my personally with my eyes, Gaben, I would be even the voice when he's saying welcome to the international is my head is just exploding because I actually hear, I'm part of it.
I tell you, these players, every year, there's another reason why I feel like I'm cheering for them. Snay and Malrine, they're giving us more reasons. The first time that they're going to have a lot of family members in the crowd watching them here in Shanghai as well. But even a step further, when it comes from snaking here, he's like, I saw in Shanghai OG win back-to-back TIs, the first time ever. They're ready to repeat, but for him, it's that extra step. First player to be able to win 3 TIs as well. So this man is constantly striving to do more for more people as well.
Yeah, that's just snaking. He's a grinder. He's played Dota and only Dota since the beginning of Dota 2's existence, whether it be in NA, in the trenches, or in recent years finally getting to the top echelon. I think he is one of the hardest workers and one of the longest lasting grinders of anyone. I think he is the longest lasting player at this tournament, him and Crit. So these I don't know, it means a lot to them, and they've been here for a long time for a good reason. They really care about the game. It's a huge part of their life, and I don't know. I mean, I was there with him at TI9, losing to Hector, farming on Wraith King, and then watching OG win and just being sad. And he wants a chance to do that to some other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and interviews like that are so endearing to me because sometimes it's easy to forget that professional players are also big Dota fans too, and they're moved by the same moments that we are, like OG winning twice in Shanghai. And Snare is someone who sees it, thinks that he can do it for himself, and they might be able to do it now.
Yeah, the motivation is there for themselves, not just necessarily carving their names again on that Aegis to be another team that joins the ranks and the likes of what OG were able to do. But the fact that they have so many family members, so many fans here in Shanghai cheering for them. We heard these players walking out there into the booths for their game number 3 in an upper bracket best of 3. And you got a question, Insania, where exactly does the cookie crumble on the side of these two teams? A dominant game each way, a 1-1.
I mean, I think for Falcons, it's probably going to be something similar. This is part of their strength, is we run back the same thing and we'll just do it better. That is their solution to every single problem you present to them. It's just, we're going to do what we did last game, just better. And I think for Nigma, it's how can we recreate a similar situation? Because I think they showed in game 1 that if their draft does not go nicely for them, they can look like Nigma from 3-4 months ago. And here they showed the Nigma that we saw in the group stage, Nigma that we want to see. And personally, I like the Huskar ban. I think that set them up for success. They need to make the game like as not cheesy as possible, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking that if the Huskar ban comes back in game 3, they should just ban the Nature's Prophet. I think this Nature's Prophet is baiting them into weird drafts and weird situations, and I think their Centaur mid idea versus it is not that functional.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they should also probably consider this Bounty Hunter ban. I think there's a chance that it gets moved up the first pick. And these are some of the questions you sort of juggle with drafting is you lost to both. I think these are the 2 heroes you lost to. The others, whatever, they were there, but you didn't lose to them. You lost to Bounty Hunter and Nature's Prophet. So now you're deciding, do we ban them both first phase? Do we ban just one of them? What are we giving up in terms of bans to replace with those? Because you're trading things off here. They will get other stuff instead. And those are sort of tricky decisions to make. You can get in your head a little bit. You've got all the pressure of TI that makes all those decisions feel so much heavier and a little bit harder to make.
I think you go one step further. You could ban the Nature's Prophet and take the bounty for yourself if you're the side of Falcons.
It was a hero crit played a lot a while back. It was really like a signature crit. I think even on Falcons he had a period where he played it quite a bit.
It was a little bit smaller. I think it gets like very shadowed by his hoodwink.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. But I feel like there was a more recent time than EG crit.
No, you're right. I mean, Shopify. No, I'm joking.
My concern there is the Bounty Hunter is strengthened by the existence or / threat of Darkseer. I don't associate Darkseer very much with ATF and his hero pool, and I don't think Bounty Hunter in the early phase will be as valuable for Falcons as it would be for Nigma. Not even close.
I do remember an Amar Darkseer game. I think they called GG 30-something minutes and he hadn't completed Greaves. I'm not saying the game is always that dire when he's playing Darkseer, but I fully agree that he has his archetype. He's trying to recreate this magic of an 11-minute victory that they got a couple weeks ago with his off-lane Necro. Maybe that sort of clouds the judgment a little bit. I'm not really sure exactly where they're going to sit for themselves, how strong their faith is going to be in running that one back, or if they're going to try and find something a little bit different, not telltale that a Necro is going to be sitting in that off-lane.
I think the initial 4 bans of this draft is extremely interesting. I think for a lot of series, like, it doesn't matter that much, but there's a lot of question marks. I think there's the Huskar question mark, there's the Prophet, the Bounty. I think if Falcons are on second pick, they might even ban both.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, to me, this IO support is a funny ban. It's so fully respect because no one else is playing its support at all. So I wonder if they're actually gonna run that back or if they're going to alter to different paths.
Well, there's a lot of questions you guys want, and I'm here to give you the good news. Those questions will be answered as we're getting into our game number 3.
Nigma Galaxy versus Team Falcons. Game 3.
Where are our first bans going to fall? Which heroes will not get to see themselves picked up in this Game 3 draft? We do have Nigma Galaxy being first pick. That is the same as what happened in game number 2. And so it does give Falcons that avenue of this 4th ban here in the first phase. They've taken out the IO Coddle Ember. That's been consistent through all 3 games. Game 2, it was Wyvern. This time around, is it a bounty? No, it's going to be that Nature's Prophet. They're not willing to do that trade, and they go, where exactly are you going to go now, Nigma Galaxy? And it is back to that bounty.
Yep, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think Falcons should have seen this coming.
Oh, sure, for sure.
I think the Ember ban is a little bit weird. Like, there's no way Nigma would first ban Ember, or first pick Ember Spirit, rather. So you are saying this is a future ban with the Ember Spirit, and we're okay with you taking bounty now. We think that wasn't the problem. Nature's Prophet was the problem. That's their assessment.
I mean, sometimes it's also like you map out the draft and you feel like we'll give them the bounty, but then at some point they're going to have a problem. Like they're going to, on the 4th pick, they're going to run into an issue. They don't have a hero that they can actually play. So if you give them the bounty and ban out the Ember, maybe Ember is for whatever reason that hero that's going to create issues for the things that they want to pick.
Yeah, definitely possible. And the Lina response, I think, is very chill. Bounty doesn't particularly do that much to Lina. Now, you can sneak up on her and potentially try to do some ganks and speed the game up a little bit, but if you have one sentry, like it's relatively easy to actually prevent those mid ganks for Bounty Hunter. I think it's harder in a side lane to prevent them, but for mid, you kind of just put a sentry. And if you're even like a little bit aware of it and the comms are good around Bounty Hunters, missing he might be looking towards mid, then you cannot die to these. And then suddenly you reach a point where Lina has Ags just flying around, and what does Bounty Hunter do to her?
Interestingly enough, I think as I've watched the Bounty Hunter meta unfold a little bit during this TI, I think a lot of teams are picking it after Lina because they have a read that this hero is good against her.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the track vision on this hero plus one blink stun, like a Tiny, for example, with the tossback, the ability to instantly jump her is their solution to her. And I think it's still pretty functional. You have to enable it through the draft, but the Lina pick into it to me says, Malrein's playing for the lane. He's not going for these centaurs anymore. He's just going to pick his level 30 Lina, dumpster, whatever hero Lorenov's going to play, and the game's going to go off of that. But as it progresses, I think the macro is very much there for Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I think you want something that helps you kill him because you don't have much kill threat on him on your own. So you want something like the Clockwork or some dude who just locks onto him and lets you dump all your spells, and so you can just kill him when he runs into these in-between areas. So especially Saksa just running around causing mayhem, and they can't actually kill him. They're chasing him around forever. You want these fast kills where you instantly kill the Bounty Hunter. You don't wait too much time, and then you put him back in base and you start the clock running
I
again.
would say Lina is like to some degree pretty good at defending her own side of the map. Like
Yeah.
I think this hero likes to farm her own camps. Like we refer to them as the Lorenov's camps, funnily enough, which is like the two camps that you find close to the mid lane tier 2 tower. And whenever Bounty would enter that kind of space, she has a very easy time just like blasting him off the screen. I personally hate Crystal Maiden, but I know Falcons love this hero and they're very successful with it.
I feel like you need to be more specific. It's Owie and Snake King. Every time a patch drops, they're in there running the numbers, they're crunching it. They're like, Crystal Maiden, can we make her work this patch? Is she going to be our support? We need to be able to play. We need to fit her into a draft.
Yeah, I feel like they love this hero. I personally, like in the last couple of years of my career, my relationship with CM kind of fell off. I love playing her in the start, but then towards the end, we weren't very friendly. We weren't on good terms.
You know what it is, Aiden? It's because you were a selfless support player for a lot of your career, and a lot of these fives who love CM are very farm-brained. You know, they want to frostbite creeps, and with the new CM build of buying the shard early, whenever it's ready, you buy it, and you just get all the farm
tell Mickey
all over
I
the
was
map.
selfless, because he keeps claiming that I was a kill stealer.
You had one phase where you were playing Tinker and taking all of the farm, but aside from that, you've been pretty selfless.
Thank
so
you,
I'll
thank
defend you. I'll
My
defend
Rubik never stole any kills.
Never.
I don't even want to think about
Just like Lorenov in the last game. Anyways, back to Mirana. They ran the same combo as in last game, right? I feel like the question, I think when you do this, you're also kind of saying, like, I don't think you guys can beat this.
Yeah.
Which, going up against Falcons, I think that is a big statement of saying, like, hey, we beat you with this last game. We're going to beat you with this again. And even though we don't have one of the core heroes that made it come together, it's still strong.
Yeah, you're sitting in that camp that with the Lina CM right now, you are wondering if there is an answer in the back pocket.
No, I'm saying, like, Nigma's running back the exact same two supports.
Oh, you're just saying what they're thinking.
Yeah, and they don't have Nature's Prophet, which I think is kind of like a statement. It's like, this is just broken. We don't need like the specific draft setup to make it work, which I think they probably, like, I feel like that's what made it work. It was everything coming together in a nice way, but they're saying it's not the case.
You know, it's easy to feel that way if you have a mid-Nature's Prophet getting you side lane kills every 2 minutes, and then you have an early Yules on Mirana, and you're landing every arrow.
Woohoo! Yippee! I love Sniper. It's been so long. We haven't got this hero at TI. Finally, we get it. Lorenov, my goat, picking Sniper. It's a classic response to Lina because Lina is the queen of outranging you. Well, Sniper says, well, my name is Sharp Eye, and he outranges even Lina. The lane's very chill. The scaling's very good. I like it a lot. And it's good with Bounty Hunter because he's up in your face being the sort of tank that Sniper needs to function.
Dude, I don't know why seeing Lina, Crystal Maiden, and Wind Ranger on the same draft makes me think like this cannot win. It's like too many ranged, just like weak, no tankiness, you know, to them.
I think Falcons did something really fun here, which is because you have this mid sniper, and what I mentioned earlier about Mirana and Bounty Hunter being able to play their game without setup, it's because they were snowballing off of lanes because of Nature's Prophet. I still think they need setup, and they needed stun heroes from Sumail on the carry. So what Falcons did is they took two of his favorite stun heroes for themselves instead of banning it, and now he's not left with a lot to work with from his regular hero pool. And I think that's a very cool approach, even though it looks weird.
No, I think Nigma have really cooked this game. The first 2 games was not a fan. Second game I was proven wrong, but I think Underlord is one of the classic responses to Tiny because you've got a ton of percentage damage and you've got a spell that locks him in place forever. So whenever he jumps into the fight and full commits like that hero has to do, he only does damage at point blank range. Well, you pit him and now he's stuck and then Sniper shoots him and he gets arrowed and you've got a lot of follow-up. So I think their draft, if you look at their heroes, they really work together. They've got a nice mix of disable with damage. They've got some beefy boys. They've got some follow-up. And I agree, if you look at Falcons, it's the triple range scared heroes, and that is not often a recipe for success, and it's also not a recipe that Falcons likes very much.
Yeah, it's not, we don't really see them play like that. Like you know, if they run the 2 double support, like ranged heroes that are high nuke damage, usually it's 3 strong tanky cores in the front. But yeah, I mean, I think Skeeter is kind of also making a statement for the rest of his tournament run, which could be good to know, that he's playing Sven, Tiny, or Alk, I think. And personally, I like the Tiny a lot more because it's just a lot more damage than the Alchemist, and they ran into that issue in last game, like Mira mentioned. But I do agree, like Tiny, the way he likes to teamfight is he likes to run in, press his spells, kill one guy, run away, and then survive for 12 seconds, and then go back in and do it again. And against Pit Lord, that becomes very difficult, Underlord.
I think it's time for ATF to bust out Mars.
Mars?
Is it?
Did you
I think
see?
so. I think any kind of blink stunner. I do. Or something of that note, because while I do agree with what both of you said, Nigma's draft to me does not function in the same way as that game 2. I see it as an entirely different draft. There's no Ion Shell for the Bounty Hunter. There's no setup for the Mirana. There's no Nature's Prophet winning you side lanes. Sniper is very stationary. Sure, he can move to side lanes, but for the most part, he'll be sitting mid, he'll be farming. You're not going to have the same lead that you do. Your Underlord can connect and make things happen with an Atos, but it's not going to function in a way where you have the GPM lead versus Falcons. So I just think that Falcons can correct their draft with 1 more blink stun, and Nigma will still have these issues when I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Do you think Mars is that guy? Because I think Mars' tournament has looked very underwhelming, right?
He doesn't necessarily have to be Mars, but within that archetype.
Okay.
Blink, tanky, lane with the 4-1 ranger, press stun, something to shut down the sniper.
It's also interesting. I don't know if they respect the Sumail safe lane invoker, but they banned invoker. Okay. Necro.
So carry Necro, I guess.
It's a good hero against Tiny. It's Tiny. When you play against Tiny, generally speaking, like you brought it up to percent damage, but he becomes so tanky that you can't kill him. Necro is like the guy that says like, you are never gonna get too tanky for me. I can always kill you.
Yeah, it's very good. I think what Mira said is very true, and I think you need to abuse the fact that Nigma, they have a little bit of what Falcons had going on last game, where it's 3 greedy cores, none of them like making moves. It's all in the supports and make moves, and so if Falcons have a way to do that themselves, they have a way to start fights, get the ball rolling, then I think you can have problems. The sniper hero is not picked very often for a reason. It's very volatile, and if you die once or twice early, suddenly you're just farming forever, and you can never take a fight because you'll just get jumped and die. And so it's a very different game. I think it's a great point.
I feel like playing these supports, like Mirana, Windrunner, it's very hard to get on top of Sniper. Or sorry, it's Crystal Maiden, Windrunner.
Yeah.
It's hard to enter that mid lane. Like the area is very tricky to get to.
It very much is. I think you're probably playing through side lanes, or you're looking for support kills on the side, and you're not even trying to kill the Sniper, because I think it's kind of just unreasonable for it to happen unless he makes a serious misstep. The Doom response I like a lot because it just sort of shuts down Necrophos' scaling in a lot of ways. He's supposed to be this big tanky bull. He outlasts the Tiny. He plays a long fight. Well, Doom says, well, you can't do that anymore. There's no healing. If you run into the fight and you try to blob on the Tiny and stand next to him, I'm dooming you, and now the fight has turned the other way. And so it's a very immediate response of like, you want to play this way? Well, you can't anymore.
And I love the counterpick to the Necrophos. I look at these 2 drafts, and I think that Nigma feel very inspired in their support duo from how game 2 went, but I think this game 3 will function very differently, and it's going to be trading farm in the mid lane, trading farm on the side lanes, and Falcons are very content to trade farm. The reason why they couldn't in that game 2 was their lanes were crushed and their towers were gone. That's not going to be the case in this game 3 from what I'm seeing.
Is there a potential for shakeup of tempo though? Like, do you see Falcons going, we have strong lanes, and if they do well in those lanes, we could really see them push that? And if a team fight were to fail, it's not doom and gloom. They could still go back to that, okay, we'll just trade farm. We'll both see where we're at in another 10 to 15 minutes.
I think Falcons has very good scaling. I don't think they're scared about like the game being slow paced and nothing happening. But I think what is scary for them is if it's like a prime sniper meta gameplay where the sniper and the two supports just like move around and you can't enter the area that they're in. And then they are just shooting down your towers from 2,000 range. And you just have to watch the tower die because there's nothing you can do about it. I think if that sort of gameplay can happen through Lorinov, then they have the potential to kind of snowball this game and take control of the map.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where you look at the draft and you can see a world where both teams' drafts function. And I think that's what you want for a Game 3, the last series of the night. I look and I think whoever is on fire, who's playing to their strengths and using the heroes the way that they work, because the heroes work very differently. Like you said, it's not the same game as Game 2. I think Mira's on point. And I think, I don't know, I'm just looking forward to see it. I'm contractually obligated to root for my boy Cardell. I'm signed by John Sharpeye, so yeah. Big sniper fan here, and I think he's got it.
All right, well, I don't know if I necessarily agree with Quinn and his desire to see a sniper success there, but the fact that we have a 50-50 on this draft, one of the most even we've seen in this best of 3, well, that's what brings me excitement, but also the fact that it's going to be brought to us by Cap and SBG.
You're too kind, Nat. Thank you. That's right. We are going into our favorite situation. Avery, it's the last series of the night. It's a Game 3. It's past midnight. We're into some D-Gen hours here. The pressure is on, but also these teams are going to be fatigued. We're going to get weird with it.
Brings me back to those old NA pub days, you know, where some of these guys grew up. So you got to dig deep. You got to find your energy, find your focus, believe in your lineup, and just go with it. You can't start questioning things in the middle of this Game 3. That, to me, is one of the most important things about these very intense, very stressful situations. You don't want to get 30 minutes of this game and be like, man, should have we picked Necro? Should we pick Doom? Like, you don't want to have these thoughts in your mind. You just need to be disciplined about it, come together as a team, believe in each other, believe in the calls, and full send it. Because the team that plays with confidence in this Game 3 is going to win it. I don't care about draft. It's all about confidence. It's about coming together as a 5-man unit and playing decisively. I think both of these lineups can be really annoying to play against with the super long-range turret heroes and these goobers that just go in and make space for them. Yep, but there's a lot of room for execution in that. I don't think either lineup is super straightforward.
Power shot. Cutting across the way there. Omar gets a little bit low, but they did the damage to Omar. And we'll see if that snowballs the lane a little bit, because it almost looks like they're going to start off with a little bit of tri-lane action here. Which could be just what you need to get this Game 3 started off the right way. Even if they don't get the kill, they'll start off with some better trades and damage, that's for sure. It does leave the Underlord in lane alone for just a little bit, but it's against a Crystal Maiden. Meanwhile, the mid lane matchup, that's going to be the biggest one to watch. It's Lorinov Sniper versus Malrine Lina. This is Siggy's for both.
We were discussing the sniper before the event. Like, who is scariest on this hero? Who can actually execute the sniper and make it work? And the two players that at least I heard most people agree on was No One for P-Vision and Lorinov for Nigma Galaxy. Yep. Individually, they are super skilled in the hero, and as a team, they play really well around it. Maybe honorable mention to Thompson, but he was a stand-in, so I'm not going to give as much team credit there, though his sniper is insane.
Sure.
I think what makes a good sniper player is it feels like they always find a little extra farm, and they scale a little bit harder. They don't fall off, and they understand how to play around this hero in the first 10 minutes. To me, that is the most important thing about a sniper game. It has to find impact in the first 10 to 15. Bring supports to this hero. Find ways to drag the enemy into unfavorable skirmishes and just abuse shrapnel, abuse the extra range. Be 5-0, 6-0, 9-0. We've seen this hero run games over. It can happen. The very obnoxious hero in terms of the zone of control. That's what we're going to see Nigma Galaxy try and provide here. They have two other heroes that can kind of frontline and tank some spells between Underlord coming in with Gate and the Necrophos just going in. That's kind of what the Doom is there, to break these frontline healers and open up some space, but their gap close is pretty minimal. So this sniper should have a good time for a long time until the Tiny is fully online, and then maybe you can find him with this Skeeter jump, but that's about it.
Yeah, if you say comfort and confidence is going to be key to winning a Game 3 late into the night like this, I mean, you really can't get more confident if you're Nigma Galaxy for a sniper. Omar almost giving up the first blood, but does manage to get away with the invisibility, pops the fairy fire, and gets out. First blood still on the table here. But on the other side, Falcons, I feel like they also got to be very comfortable because they've got scale. Maybe they don't have the most signature heroes on every single one of their players, but they absolutely have scale, and they absolutely have the kind of style of game that I feel like Falcons is known for.
Lina can take Sniper on. It's not the best matchup for her, but if you get to the blink later on, you can just kind of blink stun him and try and burst him down. It can be a little bit of a obnoxious matchup. Right. They have some blink dagger heroes in all 3 cores potentially. Game can get really weird if it goes late here.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest one for me is that last pick Doom against the carried Necrophos. It was just like, okay, we're not going to let you be able to play scale into late game team. No, that's not going to happen. We're just going to doom you, and you don't have a carry anymore.
Maybe I'm most worried for Smail in this game. I think his scale looks the most difficult. His impact in the fights looks the most difficult. This Necrophos just feels out of place to me. It's against a lot of long-ranged heroes, a lot of spellcasters, a displacement spell, an anti-healing spell in this Doom. It's just kind of miserable. He's going to have a good laning phase for sure. Safely Necro always does against any melee hero. But Amar, he already got ice armor. Kind of a little extra tankier up here, a little annoying. He's playing aggressive. He's finding some CS against the Necrophos early.
Centrally placed early here. So Omar's rotation is going to be spotted. Malrine is not going to fake anything here. Says, hey, I see you coming. Don't even try it.
It's a stable lane phase so far for Nigma Galaxy. They are top of the net worth and CS chart comfortably here. So they're getting what they want for all 3 of their cores. No early kills, though. Little sad for the Bounty Hunter. Not a lot of courier snipes, not a lot of action. You want that extra experience if you can get it. I think the Maiden is an interesting pick.
Ooh, managed to get the Shackle on him. A big land. They still have the Fairy Fire. They turn around with another round of heal available. Samael not actually that close to dying.
So much sustain, this hero.
Yeah.
Really got to be careful up here. If you're Falcons, that you don't feed away some bad double kill. He just gets to regen back up. He has a large wand plus Fairy Fire plus Raindrop. You're still getting baited a little bit.
Oh, maybe it's Amar's getting baited in. So many heroes are low in this top lane. Everybody's baiting out their magic wands and their Fairy Fires and their Lotuses.
Whoever bites first is going to lose. And it could snowball this lane considerably. Could also maybe see that gate rotation off the Crystal Maiden. It's really tempting right now.
Letting it to middle. Starstorm brings Grit low. Quick little power shot, not going to do much damage there. GH out of leap charges. Missed. Low ground miss. Maybe Samael can get the hit. He does, and that will deliver the kill to GH, who finally closes the distance just enough. He had to drop a ward to be able to get it, but it's first blood. It's worth it.
Absolutely worth the first blood here. If you can get the 6-minute Lotus 2, as Wind Ranger either has to come back to lane or go somewhere else, that can also be worth it. 6-minute Power Rune's also spawning, so where Crick goes right now, he's going to go back top. He's going to fight for the Lotus, try and deny that. This does free up the Power Rune for the Sniper, with the Bounty roaming through mid, support numbers advantage. And Malrine, he needs to be careful manning up for it too here. Don't want to get baited going for this rune without knowing where the Bounty is. They're going to bring the Maiden over.
Especially with level 6 on. This is picked up. They're going to go for him. Pops out of the trees. Saw him down with the shrapnel. It's a haste rune. Oh no.
Run.
Can he get there in time? Starts running after him. Omar's just going to try and keep it. Yeah, Malrine knows he can't really run so much. He's going to turn and fight. Laguna Blade goes back down, but now GH is going to join in on the party, and Lorinov continuing to play with that haste rune. He gets low. Crit's going to join in, already using the power shot. He's got another one coming up soon.
Damage is done, though. That's a big kill for Sniper, because he can run back towards the fountain. It's going to speed up his heal here. That was a really fortunate rune. However, I think that's also a rune that I don't think you can get the test up top with the Bounty off the map. I think you just had to go bottom with the Lina and gamble with the Maiden backup. You got to respect where Omar is rotating towards. I was about to say, the Maiden pick, I'm not a huge fan of this hero. It can shut down Bounty Hunter early. It's hard to pop out if you just get frostbitten. And it does give you some extra lane shove in the game. It's a hero that Falcons are really comfortable with. It's not a hero that's been too successful in the last year or so. It's really difficult to make work because you're not that unkillable support archetype. Yeah, you don't have some sort of big survivability spell. The shard's a little bit, but Maiden is generally easy to kill. You're just kind of losing some of these games.
What are the advantage of Maiden? She farms better.
You farm a lot. You farm a lot, you can buy some nice items, and you can honestly scale pretty well if you get to the full kit. You do a lot of damage on this hero. The aura also basically helps you shove waves by getting more mana, etc. There's some small advantages. The feel thing. Triple lane win for Nigma Galaxy, though. Pretty dominant here in this game 3 to start it off. Can't be too upset with this start.
Are going to be spotted by the sentry that is sitting on tower.
Sniper pressure is starting to build up. We're seeing heroes get dragged towards mid. Falcons need to be really careful getting dragged into this sniper zone of control. It can go bad real fast, so you got to be disciplined here. Play on sentries, group up with all 3. And they'll find a little pickoff.
Pickoff, very nice. Frostbite, Laguna Blade, and a gate out of the Underlord. So that is very nice for Falcons.
Really well played there. They did not overextend. Very disciplined about it. Get the little pickoff, back off. Sniper doesn't get anything in this interim. Side laners are still farming well in these matchups. That's one thing Nigma set up well. I think when you have the sniper, you need to be able to rotate supports to him, which means the 2 1-on-1s that get isolated, if you have favorable matchups in those, which they do, you're really happy on the map overall.
All right, he already knew about the sentry from before, but still is going to dare it to try and get the kill on Malrine. Instead, will be punished.
That was a little greedy. You know there's vision back there.
Yeah, I mean, he already did the walk behind, the creep saw him, and they attacked him. One grenade goes a real awry, and that's going to lead to the death of...
You are doomed.
GH is doomed. Well, that means Samael doesn't have to worry about Doom for a little bit.
Falcons are defending mid really well in this game. And I think Nigma need to recognize that and either play around it by going back to side lanes and dragging supports there and then going back mid, or just setting up deeper wards to find the Selena in the jungle, kind of playing for the kill in that area.
Okay.
You don't want to keep...
you ever pull Lorne off to side lanes? Should you ever do that?
You can with the hero, but you better make it work. Now, you pull him to a side lane, it has to be a kill and a half to 2. Between that 1 and 2, the 1 core kill or the double. If you just kill a support or you give up a power rune in exchange, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, the combination of tower pressure with the very easy neutral farming with shrapnel. There's the bait gonna die again.
It's really hard to run to these areas with the bounty. And yeah, you keep getting assassinated, but Lornoff's not happy with this. He's free farming, but he's not getting those little extras on top. The bounty roam to mid has been generally shut down by these Falcon supports. Experience paying off here. They've played against this hero a million times. Like, they know what he wants to do.
He's got a power rune for their troubles to Malrine, a regen at that. It is going to be a very fast Radiance for the Necrophos, and it is also going to be a rushed Aghanim Scepter for the Underlord. No surprise there.
Strong items when they hit. Got to be able to back up this sniper a lot.
But it is going to be a little while until they hit, which means the sniper is, like, he's not left alone on an island. He still has supports helping him, but if they can't find those kills, it's not like the side lane is going to change them. Frostbite and plenty of damage, especially with the freezing field being dropped on Devi's head.
There's that damage.
Right again. After GH, Malrine pops a regen, turns and fights GH.
He's fast.
He's out of leap charges. Malrine really could kill him here. Laguna Blade, another Dragon Slave would get the kill, or maybe just the right clicks. He gets run down by Malrine. These supports are having no luck to get Malrine whatsoever.
He's just straight out playing. The positioning, how well he played the lane, only giving up that 1 death. Such a consistent mid laner. And this is Nigma banging their head against that brick wall mid. That begs that question of, you know, you could have gone to a side lane and then back to mid.
Yeah, you could have gone and enabled this Reaper Sight to go off on Amar, because they could set it up with the stun, just like they were doing in game 2.
Ooh, that was close.
It does connect. It does get the extra bit of regen for Samantha.
This is the move I think they should have done after the first bounty death mid. Because now, if you want to go back for this mid play, the game flow is going to open up a little bit more.
Does put Lorne off a really awkward spot. There's no gate, no supports to help him out. They are going to be running into shrapnel, and that's dangerous.
That's a tough hero to gap close.
Trying to go after Snake in here. Power rune. Amp damage on the other side. Omar is unable to get the kill, and now he's just going to give up his life. Unnecessary.
Bounty's getting punished hard.
Yeah.
Every time he shows.
You're not going to get any tracks out of him anytime soon. It's going to need the 14-minute Wisdom Shrine to get level 6.
Doom is threatening the Necrophos top. Nigma they had a strong start to this lane phase. Falcons are striking back, making this early skirmish power work for them. Really stabilize this game, shut down the sniper potential. Not that the heroes shut down, but they didn't let him snowball off this lane phase. That's a
hit it with the power shot. GH, nice little dodge to the side there. Crit did get low off of that one, so he's got to be careful. Great space for the Doom, and they got him. That was nicely set up. Even strapped the ult there from the sniper to finish him off. That felt great.
What they wanted in this game. A couple more of those get the track online. Snake King sitting no detection here.
Easily found, and all of a sudden, Mar gets some much needed experience if they can get this kill. Oh, failing to get it. Now he's gonna die to Amar instead. Keeps on getting baited in to try and finish off these heroes, and the Falcons supports and cores keep punishing him for it.
This bait pick really worked out in terms of shutting the bounty. See if it works out for the rest of the game. But I felt like that was the majority of the reason they picked it, and it's done its job as another assassinate.
Is it even worth it to do that to a travel hero?
It does force him off the lane. It's effectively getting this mid tower, which got glyphed on 20 HP. You gonna let it get denied here?
Yeah, he doesn't want to get baited into trying to go for that last hit, so Crit gets a deny.
I think Falcons are weathering the storm right now. Yeah, I think they're playing a lot better than the game 2. They have more play options. They're more comfortable. They're finding these little extra kills. This is just a solo kill from Amar.
Yeah, well, it is going to bait him in underneath these neutrals. Oh, need the Reaper Scythe, and it finally comes through. They've got
All right, a little too aggressive there. Another Reaper kill. Gonna give Sumail some extra regen. Radiance is done. His farm rate's going to start to pick up here. Falcons maybe going to try and hunt him on this wave with the Lina rotation. I don't know if Sumail expects this at all.
Frostbite, LSA, through the plane, freezing field. They've got so much damage to throw at him that even through the heals, they've got Sumail.
Cheeky little pickoff right there. That's what this lineup can do. They have a lot of wave shove, and they have a lot of just the two-man pickoff game with the Lina plus anybody, Tiny plus anybody, Doom on his own. There's a lot of threats to consider on this map, which means the information you're getting off the bounty is probably more important than any other game in this series. But it's a lot to keep track of. Kind of hard to be everywhere right now, and the threats for Falcons are starting to pick up. They're heading straight bottom. Devi, you look like you are in trouble.
Yeah, he is very dead with 4 heroes surrounding him. Toss actually grabs Amar. Not that it matters one bit.
Now a little Goomba stomp for the road. Heroes are getting a lot of gold out of this early game just off the kills.
Amar not really finding the connection there. Maybe he will on Malrine. They're going to try to chase after him underneath this tower. Really going after it. Do manage to land the stun into the arrow, finish him off. Killing spree taken away from Malrine.
That's a big kill.
And put into Lornoff's pocket.
All a product of taking down that mid tower. This is way more of a dangerous area to sit around now. And honestly, this Bounty Mirana duo has looked just like a setup stun into arrow. It's surprisingly effective.
Yeah.
I think it's catching Falcons off guard in this series.
Go after Amar here. Amar making the read, just pops a dust.
Some gold down the drain.
He'll farm this lane, knowing that the bounty hunter isn't on it. So,
be very interested to see what he goes for this game on the Doom. If he wants a faster blink, he's going to try and scale up. He didn't go early Radiance, so he's not trying to hyper scale. Ags in this game could be interesting later on. We've seen it against Necro foes a couple times. Makes it really hard to just stick in the fight. Some options here as he's getting ganked. Would be another track.
Oh, what? Trying to get the hit in. They still got him inside the pit, though. That will lead.
That's a Reaper.
Leads to a Reaper side. There you go.
More HP, more mana regen, more gold for Sumail. Everybody wants to KS these kills, but only one of them can. Anti-Lornoff KS technology with the Reaper.
Nigma Galaxy, they seem to really thrive with these global heroes, where they're allowed to over-rotate on you And
yeah, for sure.
Doesn't feel as bad because, like in this case, the Underlord just gates right back through. A ward behind this mid tower, though. Falcons are setting up for a big move. Managed to get the blink toss back onto Sniper.
He has Hurricane
Here, too. He's got a Hurricane Pike to push him farther away from the freezing field. They can't get this kill. Omar does die underneath the tower, but Snaking is in a real awful position, and there's no way out for him. So it's just a support trade-off. The Sniper too hard to hunt down for Falcons.
He's still looking here. Has a lot of damage on his own.
Yeah, with a power shot, he can easily one-shot GH, but it's going to be a bit awkward. Diving past this here, too. The Sniper's in trouble. Devi trying to help him out. Lornoff, though, there's something they can do to save him.
He Hurricane Piked in, trying to chase the Skeeter Tiny. Didn't recognize the flank that was coming in from the Doom. Just no way to get him out of there.
Yeah, the Doom just thrown on Samael, keeps him out of the fight entirely.
That was a nice ward from Falcons. They got some solid value out of it. Will go down. And now Omar, he's like, maybe I can go Radiance in this game.
Still going to find the opening on Maureen. It's hard to make this happen against the Tiny. He leaps away for the initiation. And here from behind. What a move from GH. That was just nasty.
He used the Tiny too, so now he's going to get set up on.
He is.
Reaper in 2. One.
Try and stop him. Shackle shot, but here comes the Reaper sight. The cut skater down the side.
GH gone. What can you do? This guy is in zone. He is one of the best supports to ever do it. Having himself another fantastic Mirana game here. Not as smooth in the very early game, but now he's starting to heat up, really making this Yule Scepter work. Finding some extra moves here. A Breath of Life. Gap gets created. They're going to get a tier 1 off it as well. Yeah, you lost your Sniper mid. That's a blow, but you got a bigger prize here. And it's so funny watching Amar switch between his item ideas. You know,
yeah,
they got those mid kills. He's thinking Radiance. His 2 cores die bottom. Okay, I'm going back to BKB. Yeah, he's looking a little worse now. It just keeps oscillating. That's some nice juicy farm.
If they're winning, win more. Ooh. If they're losing, he always feels like he needs the team fight. Missed out on the arrow.
Little caster curse, I apologize.
It's fine. I mean, Samael can catch up in order to be a part of the track kill.
Just intentional.
Exactly. Extra gold, extra gold. That's all you're focused on. Lornoff is hoping to snowball this even more. This is the dangerous part of the time for Falcons. Falcons have all this scale, but Nigma Galaxy are very much online with their Sniper, ready to run the map, ready to close things off. This is going to start looking a little bit like Game 2. So, Avery, are Falcons better equipped to weather that storm than they were in Game 2, or is this just going to come down to better play?
I think it just comes down to better play.
The double hits again from these bounty hunters set up.
It's just
pop out of the Shadow Walk, stun him again with another Shadow Walk and hit the arrow.
The thing is, I don't like Falcons support duo against the bounty once this map gets opened up. Okay. I think early game it's quite strong, but as the map gets opened up, your support duo becomes a little clunky. They're not great at locking the bounty down. You're not Spirit Break, you're not Clockwork, you're not Bane, you're not Disruptor, right? These classic heroes that just cast one spell on the bounty, lock him in place, and then you can set up the damage. It's closer range between this Shackle and Frostbite that is
Devi is really committed here. He's going to get punished for it. Instantly doomed up. The Necrophos is nearby with the Doom used. I do wonder if Samael, not that he can save Devi, but maybe he can get a turnaround kill.
Got the BKB.
Yeah.
Throw the Reaper.
Out of Amar, that's good enough.
Too high there.
Meanwhile, the Crystal Maiden, I mean, it's another track kill.
This trio.
Track kill for Lornoff, who, with the Furion, was collecting on all the last hits. Now with a Sniper, he's running along with his supports.
The thing is, normally when Nigma play this style, if you're Falcons, you're okay giving up some kills if you're farming 3 cores. But the issue is it's bounty hunter. So you just win the net worth trade off of the extra track, plus information and D-wards and all this stuff, right? And then the Falcon supports have to invest more gold in detection, and it just compounds. So you can build a lead with just kill threat style against a team that is very efficient at playing the map. This Underlord's going to spawn with an Ags Gate available. You really have to be careful of this as well.
Especially with the information that Omar has gotten. Considering the fact that he had such a rough start, a very late level 6, the information he's been getting is been
huge.
Invaluable, right? It's the whole reason GH was able to make that move in the first place and bottom. Why they're able to kill Maureen with just 2 supports. Why they might be able to get this kill on crit as well and get some extra gold for it.
Actually, Bounty Hunter's not going to join him. He's going to scout even more heroes here in order for the Reaper sight to land on the Malrine. They get that one.
That's the bigger prize.
Bigger bounty picked up. Now Skeeter being run down with a track on him, making it easy for the sniper to use his range to max advantage.
They're really starting to pick up the aggression here. They know this is their window to take the map over. Whenever you find the Tiny, it's just free season for everybody to go in. These Reapers have been landing. Manta's going to be done soon for the Necropost. That's more lane shove, more obnoxious presence around the map. And these tracks are just such a big threat. You really have to be worried every time that Fiend's Gate is up. You get found on this Lina, you get gated on. We saw the early 4-staff from Malrine. This is not the build you want to have to go on Lina. It's just forced into the position.
Tiny will have no way to deal with this until he gets BKB.
Yes.
And it's going to be a bit before that happens.
They do have BKB on Doom.
Yeah.
They still have ways to win the team fight. If you can land a Doom on the Necropost especially, it takes a lot of the net worth out of Nigma Galaxy sales. The Sniper's a bigger problem in this game. Like, that's when you're just going to have to address with overwhelming force.
Yeah, that's the part that seems kind of questionable for me. You have to land the Doom on Necro, but you still have to kind of chase after him in order to get the kill.
Yes.
Right?
That's
and
where
then
it's awkward.
you're chasing into the Sniper, which sounds like hell.
That's the double-edged sword of this Doom pick. It really debilitates the Necropost scale, but I don't think it's a hero that addresses Sniper scale. It's generally a rough matchup for Doom. You pretty much just have to get really farmed and just send it in the fight and run at the dude. And if the gap gets recreated, you're absolutely screwed. So it's very all in. And that's where Skeeter is maybe the one wild card here. Like, what kind of initiations can this Tiny find? If you can start a fight where Skeeter somehow finds Lornoff and like tosses him in on somebody else, double hero avalanche, that fight's gonna look great.
Where he has to use his Hurricane Pike just to get a little bit of distance, and then he's got nothing left.
And he's still susceptible right now. He only has the Hurricane Pike, doesn't have the Shard, doesn't have any other defensive item. So if you do find him right now, he's killable.
Trying to maximize damage right now for Mjolnir. It's level 15. There's the Hurricane Pike for the Lina. So another core answer to the Underlord Gate.
Falcons just taking a pause here and trying to farm up, getting a bunch of 4-staffs, getting their Tiny to the BKB that they need to enter the engagement. Amar now thinking about going back for the Radiance as well. Doesn't want to fall behind in terms of scale in this game. I don't know if periods like this are that favorable for Nigma. Depends how much they believe in the sniper scale in this game and being able to execute down the stretch, which it is a Lornoff sniper. He has been popping off this event. There's good reason to have faith in him that he's just going to carry this game.
Already looking at a site device saying, yeah, I've got everything I want. Now I'm just going to focus on my scale to late game.
That's a tough buildup. I don't know if he'll commit for that. See what he ends up going.
All depends on if they can keep the snowball rolling off these track kills, but the game is slowed down.
Disc third for Sumail.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, he understands that this is not a game he's going to carry, right? He's playing
for sure.
Create space for Lornoff to be the one to carry.
You just have to survive as long as possible, tank as many spells as possible, not be afraid to push waves. Aeon can do that for you here. It's a mixed bag. It's very good against Lina Tiny. One of the best items in the game against Tiny. Yeah. Really bad against ATF here. Like, it's not solving your Doom issue. That is the hardest issue for the Necropost to solve, though. So in that sense, like, what are you really going to get?
Would it not be worth to get Lincoln's? I think it's just too easily.
I don't think so. I think you just have to rely on your team. Your team just needs to build 4-staff Glimmer Capes and just bail you out the second Doom pops. Your best bet.
Well, Omar is not the only support with big dreams. GH has much more realistic dreams of a very fast Aghanim Scepter once again.
Will pay off here. This game goes late.
Omar's going to be spotted by the Crystal Maiden. Frostbite. Forstaff gets away from the LSA, but of course he has nowhere to run, so he is definitely dead. Just trying to create as much.
Well, they found the sniper.
That's real rough for Lornoff. He even managed to get the shackle shot, so he's not going anywhere.
Nice ward down there. Found him on the TP out. Just a random death for him on the map. That's rough.
And that's right. Like, that's the moment where Krids has the confidence now. He's going to buy a gem.
These little things matter a lot in terms of your feel for the game, the momentum, how confident you are to just go out on the map, perhaps take an objective, Tormentor. The ball. Who picks up the shard here? Galena.
Okay.
Yeah. The maiden one got bought, so did have some high roll chances here.
Now we're going to see her. She pops that Laguna Blade, just instantly maxed out.
It's nice. It's really nice with the 15 talent. Getting insta stacks, you become super tanky. It's something that you have to consider in this game if you're Nigma Galaxy.
Yeah, they've got a lot of magic.
Yes. It's deceptive. You don't think of this Lina as a tanky magic resistance hero. This hero can survive some scythes on low HP. You get 70, you can get up to 80% magic resist with Ags plus all the stacks.
That's just ridiculous.
It's disgusting. So you do have to be a little careful here for Nigma in terms of putting the physical to Lina, not overcommitting too much magic damage, and just being aware of how tanky this hero can get.
Nigma, it feels like things have slowed down enough.
They definitely have.
It's got to be working against them. Like, this is the game going Falcons' way, right? This is where they want it to be. Game slowed down.
The lead just not as convincing because I don't think this Necrophos net worth counts for a huge amount here. Yeah, the win probability is in their favor. I think the sniper is going to continue to scale. I'm just worried for Sumail. He has to play against some really tough counters in this game. The Lina matchup's tough. The spell casting from the supports is tough. The Doom is really tough. So yeah, he's mega rich, but how much is that going to impact the fight? To me, it's still all about the sniper. And the sniper is the poorest core in this game. Lornoff really didn't find a lot early on. He found a little in the mid game, and then it quieted down again. He had that one death bottom. He needs another good fight to go his way to kind of kickstart his scale into the late game. Falcon's just not giving up anything right now.
Why do you think it's that Dota Plus has it at 25.75? Because they're only Nigma Galaxy is not up by very much, and I don't know if I love their scale more than Nigma.
It might just underrate the Lina matchups here. It might overrate the sniper scale a little bit. A lot of these are just executional based. Like on paper, yeah, the sniper is going to be a threat, but again, he just randomly gets found by a toss, then the whole fight breaks apart.
Yeah. Or Lina is able to, with an Aghanim Scepter, you know, later on, sneak up on him, do most of his HP with one go.
Same with Necrophos. If Necrophos doesn't get doomed or dodge the Lina damage, then he can do a lot of work in the fight.
Nigma Galaxy can keep going back to these pickoffs. They had a good window of just pickoff after pickoff, and now they're trying to keep that going again, but maybe it turns into a team fight. Bar kind of in bad spot. Ooh, big heals come out, even through the Laguna Blade. He doesn't die. Amp damage. An avalanche. Then some amp damage on the ground. Lornoff does manage to grab it. Now he returns fire back on the Skeeter. We'll have to pop his BKB. Toss back on Necrophos.
Amar?
Not just. Meanwhile, Amar is in, and Amar is dead.
What is he trying to do there? It's on no HP, just goes in. Gets obliterated by Reaper Sight.
Yeah, just instant sight from Sumail. There was no questions about that one. And big opening from Nigma Galaxy, because now, hey, guaranteed row shot right outside the pit. You get a win like that.
And another very clutch Yules by GH. He's been ruining some of these tiny jumps in the series. Every time this tiny goes in, he gets Yules, and it just buys so much time and space.
That was also like he reacted really quickly. He leaped out of the avalanche when Skeeter jumped in.
Honestly, it's like the best series I've seen GH play a long time. That's not blaming his other series. He is just in zone right now. Making this Mirana look absolutely beautiful. Already level 15 Ags online. He's going to continue to scale from here. You work towards that triple arrow. It's always the dream. That's a really nice Aegis to get here. Give it to the sniper. He has a lot more confidence to stick in the fight. Necrophos is continuing to be big, bad, and in charge unless you can connect the spells on him. And we saw that type of fight. It's not so easy to just leap in and connect damage on some of these heroes. Like, a lot can go wrong for you, especially around these underworld hits.
Toss back at the bounty hunter.
Nice little freebie there. No heals going in that time.
We
are seeing the value of that 15 talent for the bounty hunter. He dies there, but last time they went on him, it was
tanky.
Real difficult to kill him. There's the heart on the Necrophos. So another hero that's going to be very difficult to kill.
Unless you get doomed.
Well, I mean, even then, Aeon Disc and Heart
might be able to bail him out.
Yeah, like he's able to disengage, wait up the Doom.
Honestly, a lot of the fights might come down to how much Falcons get done before their BKBs run out and you just get stuck in the pits.
Yeah, that is going to be the biggest problem. I feel like Falcons, back when the refresh BKB, it would be very favorable.
Yeah, sure.
This game, like, now that you can't have that, as you said, there's so much they need to get done during that BKB window. It is pretty concerning as the game goes late.
It has to happen fast. They can't get kited. You get stuck in pits and Sniper has position, I don't think you can win that fight.
Right.
It just sounds impossible. Which I don't know, maybe you just doom Divine if the opportunity presents itself. I think that's unlikely because he's not going to be on the front line. He's going to be doing action like this.
Setting up the play. Omar, he does die. Nigma Galaxy. See if they can get something for it. Laguna Blade onto Divine. Actually lost sight of him there. Dust finally goes off, but maybe for a little bit too late to go after this Divine Llama kill. Ooh, crit.
Sniper? Doing sniper things?
Is that going to be enough damage?
Oh,
It
yeah.
is rather easily.
You saw Omar. He doesn't want to do this Underlord after the gate goes off especially. He had Lotus as well, so you're kind of baiting it. Need the bigger targets. They still have a ward down here. They see everything. Did not want to jump the Aegis. Too much of a deterrence.
The other side, Omar goes. Falcons back to farming. Nigma Galaxy doing the same.
Continue to scale up the Lina and the Doom here.
BKB online. Malrina's going to go for the right-click build rather than the magic damage build. What are your thoughts about that?
This does not strike me as an AC.
Yeah, you've been a big proponent of more physical damage builds on Lina.
I think he's maybe just paying it for, you know, hey, Skeeter, build this for me, thank you. Because if anyone's getting AC in this game, it's Tiny.
Yeah, that's
I think Lina needs to end up... I feel he needs to end up with a Blink at some point in this game.
Or at least an... I mean, Aghanim Scepter, right?
That is another route, yeah. You can go Ag. I always think ending up with Satanic plus a couple damage items feels great. I want to go that route.
Interesting situation. Threatening the site here. Amar's just going to have to BKB. Don't want to take any risks.
Could get... Quick Blink. Dodge the gank. That is BKB down. Which, again, how easy is it to fight without BKBs available? Be another quick tower during this Aegis period. The lead is not growing for Enigma during this Aegis, though. They need to be aware of that. You're getting some objectives. You're getting more time for the Sniper to build back up. But you're not going to take Falcons off the map. That is a much taller order, as Shackle will not land, and they're just going to bail on this situation. Nothing to fight for there.
Wisdom goes to Falcons, trying to get a Blink Dagger. Blink Daggers all around, it seems. The GH agrees. That is a great item. Chris going to try and build one pretty soon here so he can get better Shackle shot initiations or fall through. Malrine did buy...
I was looking at that.
Yeah, maybe.
This really... It seems off to me. This is not a great AC hero because you stand in the back of fights. It's also just isn't the game where I look at it and say he needs more armor.
But if he does have that armor combined with his magic resistance,
he's very tanky.
Yeah, like he's going to be crazy tanky.
Yeah, maybe that's the goal. Just be able to tank sniper hits on top of all the magic damage.
I was kind of thinking there was this weird sort of situation where you had pop out with that friendly shadow from Samael. Chasing after Mallory, these heroes are just too fast, it seems. Even when they get him in the pit, it's too late.
Need heroes to connect here. It's your big stun in this game. Here he's going to walk into Samael.
Spotted on the sentry. Peter, Harpoon, he's far enough away. He'll be able to pick out just fine.
This game is so much about vision control. The sentries, the gems, the bounty scouting, Mirana, ultimate, Shadowblade, Tiny. There's so many in this Trying
Kind
to
of
set the fight up.
They have the ward on the gate that spotted him. The Reaper's Sight is not going to be enough damage. They have a track on him, but nobody able to close the gap.
Kills are getting a little frustrating for Nigma.
They are.
That is time. Time for this Tricore to farm their way to the top of the chart.
Falcons just keep on looking for an opening. They're going to go for one on divide here. Toss them up in the air, allow the LSA to fall through with Maureen having the damage. Makes it a whole lot smoother to get that kill.
That's a big pickoff. This is what their lineup's supposed to do. Find the isolated hero, kill him, snowball the map. Not necessarily just take a 5-on-5 into Necrophos plus Unlord Goo, creating space for the sniper. That formation's very tough to break. Isolated heroes into snowball, way easier for all their single target damage. Page gonna dodge, he's getting top. Such a close game. Dead even.
Going to TP in. They're going to drop some vision here. They say this is an opportunity. Amar apparently not scared of anything here. I mean, I guess there's really nothing that's ever going to stop him from BKB running away.
Could get chain stun on top of arrow into sight. That's about all you're afraid of. Another Tormentor. Another shard. Net worth lead swings towards Falcons for the first time in this game. That's kind of wild.
Other amp damage. Nigma Galaxy feels like they haven't gotten the better of power rooms for a little bit, but they will get one on Sumail here. Him and Omar gonna lead the charge with the friendly shadow. We'll keep the lanes pushed in with these Radiance Illusions.
Just crossing the whole map. Kind of need this play to land. Committed so much for it.
You have a high ground ward plus sentry here from Malrine and Skeeter. They both make a quick retreat as soon as some heroes show up. This is the annoying part. For Nigma Galaxy against Falcons, they can be so elusive what they want to be. They understand the game they're playing right now, and it's a game of keep away.
They're just stalling out the timing. They're just slowly making this Necrophos net worth less and less impactful. Nigma need to find a way to speed this game up or force the fights. Roshan is one mechanism to do that.
You're about to hit pretty peak Necro. Level 25, overwhelming blink, just spamming out his Q. Nigma Galaxy, if they are struggling to find pickoffs, is there any point that you say, all right, screw it, let's just 5-man ball into a tier 2, force Falcons to try and fight us?
No way. Someone's just gonna get tossed.
Yeah.
They potentially have buybacks on that fight, full vision. They're not worried about the bounty hunter. You definitely don't force a fight on an objective that Falcons control. You can maybe force it on Roshan because then you can bring them into a more open area or into your wards or bounty hunter control. Play off of a pit blocking a staircase or something. That fight can get a lot more weird for Falcons. Going into one of the towers is complete suicide here.
There's the overwhelming blink for the Necro, but we also have a Daedalus complete for Skeeter. So many of these cores are closing in on their 25s. There is multiple level 24s right now.
Falcons are finding a little more net worth on their cores, though. Big items on all their heroes. Overwhelming Blink Doom. Satanic going to be finished shortly for Malrine with his 25. And that Daedalus on the Tiny.
Will it make the difference?
He got the Flares Boda too. It's so much damage on this hero.
Malrine trying to beat a little bit, has a shield rune. Reaper's try and cut him down. It's not going to be quite enough. And the shield rune activates. Malrine's going to be good for now. Still poking at him. Device actually thinking about chasing, but the fight comes straight to Nigma Galaxy. A jump in from Skeeter, finish off the bounty hunter while they're poking at him with the sniper, and those pokes hurt too. Skeeter even has to pop his BKB as he backs it out. They have to feed him a Lotus. They try and keep him alive right now with the Silver Edge. I think he might have made it. Avalanche toss back. Malrine going after Omar. That might be a dieback for him. Got the Doom onto the sniper, and they can put
damage on him, he might take out, but they can't do it. With the invisibility, he's able to get away. Crit pushed back into the pit. Very nicely done by Nigma. Galaxy
Jules on the Lena.
Out of the fight.
GH found him.
Managed to get the arrow. Big play from GH, finding the opening onto Malreed. If they can finish him off, it'll be a massive win, and they got him. Hunt him down. Snake King's up next. And Nigma Galaxy, the long fight, it draws out, and it's all to their favor.
The jumps were also a little disconnected for Falcons. The tiny jumps were good, but the Doom, he kind of had to back off, and then he went in on his own. Doom the sniper, which honestly is just not the target you want to Doom because he can survive that. They're going to play around him here, and the formation. Formation means everything for Nigma Galaxy in this game. Look at the space created for Lornoff in this fight. They're nowhere close to dealing with him. He zones out Amar. Now he's going to zone out the Tiny. He's sitting under a gate in a pit. He has his two big boys running in front of him. And by the time you try and turn this fight and jump him off of a little overextension here, you do find him with the Doom, but everybody else got zoned off. You can't put any extra damage into him. Great positioning from Nigma Galaxy. Great find at the end by GH again. And Nigma, they're pushing. They're pushing deep.
Behind the tier 4, second to run down. Oh, they get Amar and Crit.
Oh, they're crumbling.
Keep the numbers.
No pie.
Falcons have slipped up in a big, big way. Nigma Galaxy, one lane of barracks into 2. Are they just going to be able to close out the game right here? And
they might. The Sumail aggression.
A tier 2 remains in the bottom lane. Nigma Galaxy, they can't get Megas, so they will back out. Roshan's up after all. There's no reason to try and end it out here. They can play it safe. They can play it a bit more disciplined. They'll go back to the extra life.
What a read on that moment right there. To go for more right outside the fountain. So much can go wrong. But that man right there has never cared about getting close to the enemy fountain. Sumail has had many TI moments centered around that objective. Some of them have worked out, some haven't, but he has never grown fearful. And perhaps a moment in this game, in this series, the Galaxy, they will claim another Aegis with a banner. Only one lane remaining for Falcons.
Aegis now for Lornoff. Falcons have found no way, despite the net worth that they pulled back throughout some of this mid-game, despite them evening things out, they still have not found a solution. The item increase has not managed to get them through the formation that Nigma Galaxy have presented.
They need more ways to get around it or just punch through the front line. They're not doing either right now. They do have 25 on Tiny for double toss charge. They have 25 on Lena for the extra crit attacks. That is extra damage to punch through this front line. It's a lot to punch through. Potential buybacks as well. You have to worry about the Necrophos second life with the buy bots into the fight. Underlord second life with buy gate into the fight. Nigma Galaxy can just throw lives at a high ground to get through the big spells here like the Doom. You only have one Doom available.
Double Lincolns, Dubai and GH both pick up a Lincolns in this window. Off for the one team fight into more pickoffs into lanes of barracks. That flush gold
and Amar.
Lincolns that can protect Sumail.
He didn't go Ags on this Doom. He went to Overwhelming Blink. He might regret that now. There's also that Hex completed on the bounty. You really have to watch the jumps with the Tiny in particular. If you go in, you don't BKB, you get Hex, that can be the fight.
He also doesn't have a neutral creep that would give him a way to break through lane.
He got Hex!
Avalanche, an instant Hex! And now the Tiny's dead!
Does have buy.
A buyback, but Nigma Galaxy have used very little for this. A Reaper's Sight, that's good enough. Lornoff is still plinking away at this tier 3, putting the pressure on Falcons.
What are you gonna do?
Gotta come up with a solution fast. They managed to find an LSA and arrow burn through the sniper here. Malrine had to pop his BKB to come in. Can he go around for a second life here? But he didn't get the BKB. Cut through him, try and get through these Lincolns, and they've got the final hits coming in. Lornoff does die. Now Peter marches forward. Now they've got the
oh boy.
They just get slaughtered. Oh, Nigma Galaxy, the high ground becomes their nemesis once again.
They needed to get that sniper back a little further or have someone go in, check some of the blink daggers. He did not get BKB off